Markshire here, and here with me is Darkseed.
Every time, dude. It's Dark
Every
Side.
time.
Dark Side, by
No,
the
it's
way.
not.
Dark Side. I'm not gonna. I'm
Darker.
not giving this fight up, dude. I'm Dark Side. That's it. Play Injustice. You will see. I'm Dark Side.
In the other side, we have Follow
Dad.
Durden.
Dad.
Hey everyone, my name is pronounced correctly as always. Thanks a bunch to Drew.
His name is
We
Dad.
also have a special analyst here in Markshire.
Hey, what's up, guys?
I'll have you guys know
Uh,
that Markshire is like the third coolest mark in all of THL. Just saying, putting it out there.
who's the second?
I don't know. I don't even know how many marks there are.
Anyway, before we get into the matches, I just want to point out that tonight I am starting a new community goal. Last 2 weeks ago, we saw the THL stream overlay be rewarded. I am still working on that, but it's not out yet. But the new one is going to be for 5,000 points, and it's going to be a special SHL stream.
Wait, we're gonna do an SHL stream.
Yep. So for if people can gather 5,000 points, we will do a whole show on SHL.
Okay then. Well, I guess we're doing a show in SHL.
Nice. I
Yeah.
might actually have to learn how Last Hero Standing works.
Yeah.
It's
That's
going to
the
be
case.
really interesting. All
right.
First
Well-
matchup we have tonight is Animor versus D Lineman. What do
Actually-
you know about these two guys?
The first thing we should do, guys, and I'm sorry to like be like a bad host, but it's been brought to my attention that we're actually in the wrong voice Discord. So let's hop over to broadcast booth and then we can talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
tonight's
okay.
match.
Sounds
All right, guys, they're coming back. Don't talk about them anymore. All right, so while we're waiting for Dad to come back, let's talk. Let's look at the matchups here. He's still in the general. LOL.
I wonder if he's thinking of going down to Aeon.
Yeah.
He did. He did.
Anyways, we're going to talk about the matchups here that everybody has. So we're going to have Animor D Lyman up first. We got Druid, Hunter, Mage, Paladin. For Tim, who's Animor, he's Tim from Tim's team. In case you guys didn't know, he's a god. And then we have D Lyman with Mage, Paladin, Shaman, Warrior. Markshire, why don't you talk for a second about these classes and like what stands out to you?
I would say nothing in too particular is that interesting because these are mostly standard classes, with I would say the exception of Hunter that Animor is bringing. Hunter is a pretty decent class. It's definitely doing a lot better than it has in the past meta, but it has not been seen that much in THL, and I think a big part of that is because its matchups just aren't very polarizing. If you look at Vicious Syndicate data, it's hovering around like the 50-50 mark for most of its common matchups, and that's not really something that you want to bring to THL. You really want to bring those matchups where you're actually going to be favored over your opponent, unless you just think that you can totally outplay your opponent. So maybe that's what Tim is thinking here.
I think what's really interesting here is Hunter against Shaman.
Yeah, that's a rough one for sure. He just hex you, devolve you. Like Hunter gets a lot of value from like sticky dudes, like Kindly Grandmother, Savannah Highmane, and Shaman just nullifies all of that.
well. So 3 weeks ago, right? If we saw Shaman, and I was one of those dudes that tried to bring Shaman one. If Shaman was brought, then you anticipated facing a slower control type of lineup, But the last couple of weeks, we've seen the rise of this token Shaman deck, and I think it could spice things up for a few people this week in THL and their matchups, and maybe more in the future. It was the meta breaker according to Vicious Syndicate,
Yeah.
this week. So I don't know if I see D Lyman bringing something that's kind of unproven like that. But if it's the slower Shaman, then yeah, it's going to be a hell of a matchup if it gets Hunter accused into it.
Yeah, I mean the token shaman. I played a lot of it on ladder. It's actually a surprisingly good deck. Even like if you run the double evolve package, which I kind of gave that list to Markshire. I don't know if he played around with it at all, but like just getting like a devolve off on a board full of just like 1/1 tokens and turning them all into a bunch of two drops is still pretty good. It's like gaining a bunch of free mana, and you can kind of overwhelm your opponent. Did you play with that list at all, Markshire?
I did play with it in a couple games on ladder. So I've played with both the Evolved Doppelgangster list and also another list that just doesn't run the Evolved package at all. And it's hard to say. There's not a great sample size for it, but it's hard to say which one is better. I would say that the Doppelgangster or Evolved list is better if you're facing against control, if you predict your opponent is going to be bringing slower decks because you have time to draw into your evolved combo. But seeing that Animore is bringing Hunter and knowing that he made his climb to legend with Aggro Druid, so that's definitely one of his favorite decks. I think that D Lineman may not opt for that approach. He probably will not predict control from Tim.
Yeah. Sure. What's standing out to me on Tim's lineup is no warrior. It's really strange. I mean, it's just such a strong, flexible class. It feels weird to kind of leave it out of a lineup.
I mean, I think if we all had to throw our chips right now into a single bet, I think we'd all say D Lyman's probably going to go a little slower, maybe kind of have value heavy mid-range control, and we're probably going to see, Tim Animore, probably go with quicker decks, So at least that's what I'm betting on. But we go to watch their matches.
Yeah, and I mean, this token shaman just does so well against other aggressive decks.
Yep.
Just because it gets on the board so consistently, it has cards like Primal Fin Totem, which no aggro deck unless they get an insane start, maybe like something with Innervate for an aggro druid, they can't really deal with it. And because of the hero power, even if they do end up missing their 2-drop, they'll have a way to have a pretty consistent board presence in the early game. So yeah, I would say that D Lineman might be looking to target aggro.
Yeah. Well, my vote, I really, really hope D Lineman brings that mid-range shaman with the double evolve, not the token approach, but more the mid-range build. I would love, I know Karazhan meta scarred us all, but I think it'd be really cool to see that evolve shaman play the mid-range hunter that we see in the meta right now. That'd be a hell of a matchup.
I loved the Karazhan meta, man. I don't know why you guys hated it.
I think that a lot of the cards are just starting to really see a lot of limelight.
Yeah, Face Hunter was a deck, dude. What more can you want? Face Hunter's a deck? Sign me up, man.
So what about Animore's Druid?
I honestly think it's an aggro druid. I mean, one, the deck is just absurdly powerful. I think you have to consider it, especially with D Lineman's classes. He's got Shaman Warrior. I mean, if D Lineman Paladin Warrior, my apologies. If he goes a Murloc package and an aggressive Pirate package, you could just throw in 2 crabs, 2 crawlers. You can go quad crab, as people are calling it, and kind of shut those 2 decks. Not hard shut them down, but you kind of can play into them with your aggro druid. Yep. And I think it's just that's the deck he's going to go with personally.
Well, in his interview, as you guys know that watch the show every week, players, and I mean, Animore straight up says he plays aggro druid better than anyone else in THL. So I think at this point it would be a surprise if we didn't see him. So I think we can anticipate that, and he's bringing Mage. Secrets Mage is huge right now. I don't think it'd be a surprise. He's looking for archetype alignment. He's got aggro druid, mid-range hunter. We can anticipate a quicker mage and probably a Murloc paladin.
Yeah. I agree with that. And speaking of his interviews, we asked some interesting questions this week. And one of them was, you could pick a fight with any person from all of history. Who's it going to be? He said, I would pick a fight with Bruce Lee because I enjoy getting my ass kicked. That's incredible. That's awesome.
Well, he might enjoy getting his ass kicked tonight, too.
And you never know.
We asked him.
Lyman, that's probably what he'd say, right?
Yeah, we asked him also if he made it to the finals of BlizzCon. This is a great answer. Who would you want to be your final boss? He says he wants his final boss to be an old, decrepit life coach who has reached the age where he cannot complete a single turn before the rope burns out. Oh my God.
Well, I'm older than life coach, so I'd love to make a joke that might not be far off, but I'd be throwing myself under the bus. So.
Okay. But I think we should, because we're late getting started, I really think we should hop into the match. So I'm going to go ahead and tell them to go ahead and queue. And we'll hop in as soon as they queue up. Any final thoughts while we're doing that?
I'm excited to see this. I think this is going to be a really highlight match.
Yeah, it's I've gotten to know Tim better over the last few weeks. Seeing the level of player he is, how he thinks about the game, and I think this may be one of the better we have on the show the entire season. So I'm stoked to see it.
Yeah, Tim's he's just a really good dude. He's going to be on your bottom. D Lyman's going to be up on the top for you guys. I know I don't have it right now for today's stream purposes, but C. Parker, thanks for showing me the ways, dude. Has shown me how to flip the cards. I just didn't have time to do it today, but next week and every week thereafter, I will have the cards on top flipped over for you guys. I promise. It's coming.
Yeah, I think we're all going to look forward to that level of production value.
Production quality. Yo, if you want that level of production quality, just spam Craigasm in the chat. I love me some Craigasm, so Craigasm in the chat. Let's go. All right, they're doing it, so we're going to hop in. All right, we're loading up, boys.
Yeah, so it looks like Tim, is teching as Hunter. Mid-range Hunter is one of those decks that you can actually tech and not really lose any steam with. And just because the crabs, if he's going, Glocker Crawler or Quad Crab, he's going to have to be. And no surprise here, he keeps the kindly grandmother, mulligans the rest of the way. D Lyman shaping up to have a pretty good, couple of turns. Mono Worm is the bane of, mid-range Hunter. Pirate Warrior, all of those decks to rely on those, low health minions the first turn or two. So I'm sure he's happy to see that Mono Worm.
All right, there we go. I just got in. All right. Yeah, definitely when you're playing this type of burn mage, you definitely want to open Mana Worm into Arcanologist if you can. Oh, he's playing Secrets Mage. Interesting.
Oh.
That's a really interesting call with the book over the Mana Worm. I think it's maybe because he doesn't have any spells in his hand that maybe he chose to go that route. I still don't think it's right.
Yeah, but man, getting a glyph off a book, babbling book,
it feels pretty good. Yeah.
The only thing he's missing here is the coin, right?
Yeah.
Can you imagine Mana Worm glyph?
Mana Worm coin glyph into free Frostbolt. That's interesting. He's taking the line here. He wants to get a minion, big butt on the board. Glocker Collar serves that 2/3 on turn 1. It's nice. Yeah, it's pretty good. There's some merit to coining the grandmother because it's pretty slow as a 2/2, but I think it just gets pinged and maybe he's afraid of ping something. I'm not sure. But the Glocker Crawler's fine.
And so we're
Yeah, this is interesting, though, because all these secrets are kind of weird to play around. For Hunter, it doesn't generally get punished too much, because some Hunters don't play a lot of spells, but you see Tim's hand, he's got the Kill Command and the Animal Companion, so he's got to try to play around that counterspell somehow. And I think that's correct.
Yeah, that Glocker Crawler was a heck of a top deck for him.
Yeah, it was.
He has to expect counterspell.
Right.
And, that would just be backbreaking on Animal Companion this early in the matchup.
Yeah, and not only that, the Jewel McCall is correct, because it plays around Mirror Entity, too.
Yeah,
those
so
are the
let's
two
see
secrets.
If we get that free Frostbolt we're talking about.
Glyph into Glyph. You could take the Entity, but you could Glyph into Glyph and just let this Mana Worm get out of control.
Yeah, I would consider it. So, you know what? But he's going to get a free. He can count on a free Houndmaster, right?
Yeah, usually.
So I'm sure we're going to trade into potentially the Crawler here.
Yeah.
If he wants to get a value bump. D Lyman's thinking about it. I guess he.
Either way it goes, as long as he doesn't trade into the grandmother, the big bad wolf, he's going to get a 2-for-1 out of that card. So that's probably fine.
I'm sure his thought process is what can he get the least amount of value on the Houndmaster.
There's so many spells to check for here. You kind of... How punished you get for playing right into the Mirror Entity with the Houndmaster? I think that's what he's considering now.
Yeah, and I think we were talking about it in our chat earlier. That's why we really think of Secrets Mage as the ultimate tempo mage now,
Yeah.
And, I'm sure D Lyman was worried about that. You give the Joe McCall such a great little value bump there, but
yeah,
I think he's fine right now.
Yeah, it's tough because he
gonna
could just
draw.
get pinged. Oh, that Flame Geyser's pretty good too. Was that in his hand naturally, or did he get that off of effect? Hmm. I don't know what you take here. I mean, Freezing Potion maybe just to stall him out a turn. Flame Geyser for damage. It's a free 2 damage at this point. I think we lost Lester.
I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm on vacation in California this, and of course, someone called me while I'm trying to cast with you.
LOL. Yeah, but that's a solid turn from D Lyman. He just basically nullifies the Houndmaster on the board.
Yeah, I mean, can you ask for a better? I mean, I know there are some guys, but really, a Stranglethorn Tiger off of your jaw, that's just awesome.
It's pretty good. It's not as good as Knuckles, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. So we're going to clear the Houndmaster here, take everything else to the dome.
Yeah. How do you get back in this game? I'm not saying that you're out of it if you're Animor, but how does Tim get back in this game and just like solidify his position?
Well, I mean, of course he doesn't see it, but we can see the D Lyman's lined up for Portal, Firelance Portal. That's just
he's stacked.
That's so strong. Yeah, and so Tim's going to try and get the board back here. He's going to try and protect that Tundra Rhino, which would be so strong going into a Scavenge and Hyena turn. But we can see that a Firelance Portal lines up to clear that off.
Yeah. D Lyman just has all the answers. Tim can ask all the questions he wants, but that's a pretty good card. And you have to respect it too now, right? So that's...
You absolutely have to. So, how do you clean this up here? I mean, you Stranglethorn, you can count on it last
Yeah,
game.
well, the Hyena's going to be good, right? So you're going to buff the Hyena, and then you're going to kill this... You're going to send the Stranglethorn into Lyra, and you're going to jam, like, 7 damage into his face, right?
So one little interesting piece there. Do you ever bump the 1/1 your Hyena up to 4 health?
I mean, not only that, you get 2 more damage. I don't know how relevant the 1/1 is on the board. It gives you an extra point of damage by bumping in the cat, so maybe you do it. And it's not even the cute cat, too, right? So I don't see how you get punished for doing that.
Totally improper sequencing. You gotta keep the cute cat alive, guys. You gotta keep the cat alive.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even the cute cat, so I don't see it, man.
Yeah. So, and
ooh,
wow,
that's a good deadly shot. I think you could just throw the deadly shot out there to check for counter spells, and you still have a couple of things to follow up with.
Yeah, I mean, and Animal Companion's going to give you so much more value.
Yeah.
So,
oh, that's good.
Right
If we're asking how does Tim come back in the game, I think this is the start of it. But I don't know if he has enough gas left now. Hunter can't really draw cards. D Lyman just drew a 0-mana 5/5 and a Firelance Portal, so like, oh, he's gonna get a full clear here. Yeah, he's gonna get a full clear and a free 5/5.
Wow. Yeah. Speaking of Knuckles.
Yeah, rip the dream. And there's Knuckles. There's my dude.
Yeah. Speaking of Knuckles, wow, Death by Knuckles whenever you're the hunter. And this is just bad. I mean, this is your worst mid-range hunter sitting.
It's
this late in the match.
It's late in the match, but he's got 10 points of damage in his hand. So he just needs a 1-mana card that he could drop on the board and he could win.
Yeah. So because in 2-mana, hero power to kill command.
Yeah, if he gets a 1 or 2-mana beast, he just wins.
Yeah.
So that's all he's got to hope for.
Wow.
Well, that's not going to get him there, but can he live another turn? I don't think he can. No, he can't. There it was, the next card.
Yeah. So I mean, the best he can do here is put him at 2, and he's staring down the 11 damage on the spot just with board, not counting the any spells that
or the ping.
Yeah.
You got to clear the 5/5. You can't not clear the 5/5. At least it gives you another turn. I don't know what you can draw. Maybe he runs Leroy Jenkins. I'm not going to say he runs Leroy Jenkins based on the list that he has, but maybe he does. But it's not even lethal, is it? No, it's not even lethal if he leaves up if he kills the 3/2.
So I would imagine D Lyman's going to bump Pyros here.
Yeah,
play the 6/6.
I would imagine that too.
I mean, he's got to prevent any beast, remaining on the board.
Markshire, while we're watching these last two turns here, did you see anything out of these turns from either player that maybe could have gone differently to change the favor of the game one way or the other?
The one thing that was surprising to me was D Lineman not playing Mana Worm on turn 1. And
Yeah.
I'm still not really sure why he did that. It's just such a strong turn 1 play, but it ended up working out for him. I mean, the Mage their cards have so much more value than the Hunters that D Lineman was able to effectively run
Yeah.
Animor out of cards. And on Animor's side, I don't really think I saw anything. Most of
No.
his turns were pretty straightforward. So
Yeah, he got kind of unfortunate to the next two cards after Flare being both a 1 or a 2 mana beast that could have won him the game on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, he had outs to win the game there, but it just didn't come through. The draws didn't come through for him.
He didn't believe hard enough in the heart of the cards. That's what it comes down to.
Believe.
Yeah, you gotta believe in the heart of the cards.
Is anyone else just automatically conditioned when they see a Mage Secret up to assume it's Ice Block?
Yes, every time.
I'm sure that's what Tim was thinking.
I think that's a secret you have to plan for, right? Because like popping them at 1 is critical. So if you're playing like Tim did with an empty board, you're like, how do I sequence this to pop him at 1? So that's like the only one you're playing around there. But Counterspell could have sucked too in that situation. But I think he already ran him out of both of them. I don't remember.
So before we get into the next match, do we have the bans for these players?
Oh, that is a good question. Let me ask. I wasn't given that information. I'm sorry. Bad production quality.
So D Lyman right now, it looks like he's going to be running, a more control-based paladin. We see the Forbidden Healing, which typically control-based paladins will run 1 or 2 of. Of course, he mulligans it back and draws the Hydrologist, the new Doctor 2. And of course, no surprise here, Tim's running Aggro Druid.
Yeah, not surprised to see that. Oh, you can go ahead.
No, you're good. And we see the Bluegill Warrior, so, we can say it's going to be water package.
Okay, so Tim banned Shaman, D Lyman banned Paladin. It's interesting. I think Paladin's a pretty standard ban. I think Tim banned Shaman because he's going to go aggressive.
Yeah, banning Shaman because he wants to go for the full aggro route makes sense.
And his hand's not that great right now for the aggro portion of it. He kind of he played the Power of the Wild as a beast, which can give him something to mark and give him to draw a card. But without that, I mean, he's got a Savage Roar and a Bluegill, which aren't really great to play on curve.
Yeah, well, your aggro druids, he's going to draw 1 card here. He's going to run more.
Oh, he's got the Innervate too. He's set.
Yeah.
He can get a good target off of Innervate.
Yeah, so he's gonna draw here, and the odds are he's draw. The deck runs 8 to 10 of them. So depending on your build. So and of course he hits his Enchanted Raven here.
I think this is correct too. The Savage Roar. You can use your face to clear off a minion, and you get to push a lot of damage right now. I like this line of play.
Yeah, and this is where you see, if any of you guys watch, we always talk about what makes the difference between a pro player. Knowing when to get your damage in when you're playing an aggro build like this. I think it's one of the more common mistakes we'll see in players. But Tim knows what to do here. He's going to push the damage when he can.
The coin True Silver is going to hurt, though. Oh, go ahead, Berkshire. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I completely agree. With Savage Roar, it's pretty unlikely that he's gonna get more than 3 minions onto the board, so you may as well cash in while you can.
Yeah, it was a pretty clean Savage Roar.
Yeah, and he's gonna do 3 damage here.
Yeah, it's turn 4, and D Lyman's already at 1/3 of his health. I mean, if we just put that in perspective.
Yeah, and being aggressive and that is exactly. I mean, obviously it's Aggro Druid. He has to be aggressive, but Animor has to end this game quickly because D Lyman has those Consecrates in hand. He has access to tools like Wild Pyromancer and a quality combo. So if he waits any longer, the game will be out of reach. So I really like this, just being aggressive as possible.
If you're D Lineman here, do you ever just hit him in the face with a True Silver just to get an extra 2 points of healing? I think you might.
So you
Yeah.
lose to Savage Roar if you don't do it.
Yep, and here it is. Right off the top.
Commentator's curse.
Right off the top. There it is.
There we go. So, I mean, you got to feel that Tim, I mean, this is what the deck does, right? Like, a lot of us would watch this and say unlucky, and believe me,
No,
it's
it's
just
not.
to say, but that's what the deck does. Deck is made, like, it's so many games if you play a lot of aggro druid, or back in the days
So,
of Face Hunter,
I've
you
played-
win by the skin of your teeth.
Okay, I played a lot of aggro druid this season. There's just so many games you win where you've had no business winning because you'll top deck Living Man on 5 and Living Man will stick, and then you'll have a Savage Roar turn in your hand, and the next turn you top deck an Innervate and you just burst him down. Like, so many games you just win, or because you coin out your Fledgling and it carries you. Like, you win so many games with aggro druid that you probably had no business winning otherwise because you got that like one card that just carried you in the game.
So this right here is, gosh, I wish I had the data in front of me. I want to say this is one of the classic 50-50 matchups for mid-range Hunter, right?
I think it's more leaning towards Paladin because they have the Peacekeepers, and like you drop your turn 6 high main, they just Peacekeeper to a 6-mana 1/5 spawn 2/2s. That's just not good enough. And I think this is actually more heavily favored into Paladin's favor, especially when it's a mid-range.
Yeah, I jumped over real quick. This matchup technically by the data is one of the unfavored ones, and it's 40-60 Hunter Paladin. So, and then we see Wicker Flame. I mean, just sitting there all pretty.
But he's got the crabs, so it all depends on whether or not D. Lyman plays the Murlocs, which I know he plays at least Hydrologist. Coining out Grandmother here is fine. Grandmother into Grandmother is always solid. You know, it's a pretty slow card on its own, but if you can get it out on the first turn, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you ever make the 1/1 here and just give him the free pop? I don't know that you do.
Yeah, I mean,
here comes the hyena, and then you pop the hyena on the, you buff the hyena by popping your Grandmother. That's a good turn.
And you're going to get a couple licks in before the True Silver gets played.
Yeah, there's really no way that he can clear it. He can, however, play the Stonehill or the Wicker Flame, actually. I couldn't see that card because it's upside down. So Wicker Flame does slow this down. Unless, Tim draws exactly Deadly Shot. He didn't.
Yeah, so let's see if the Razor Maul, I mean, you go Crab. I mean,
there's nothing with the Razor Maul that helps you, honestly. Like, you can't get poisonous. Divine Shield helps, but
I would say there are some things. I'm sort of surprised he didn't Razor Maw the 4/3, the hyena instead, because Divine Shield on that would have been very strong.
Divine Shield, and that's fine, but there's nothing that helps you push damage this turn, is what I really wanted to say. You couldn't get poisonous to clear it with one hit. You had to send both in. I mean, you still have a really strong board, but now Consecrate is a bad card.
Yeah, I think that's actually a pretty big misplay from Tim there. If he had just played, if he had adapted the hyena instead, he would not have played nearly as hard into Consecrate.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's actually playing really greedy with the Hungry Crab. I could kind of understand last turn because you don't want to play too wide into Consecrate.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, do you ever drop Crab that turn or start weaving in the hero power like he
did?
I
think you need dudes on the board. You already saw one Consecrate. I don't think he's going to be lucky enough to have 2 Consecrates in the top 8 cards of his deck. So I think you are okay to drop the Crab, honestly. And the 2 damage isn't going to matter right now. I think he's holding it for value, but I don't know if he'll ever win the value war against a Druid or a Paladin. Sorry.
So Rathian is, I think, a pretty reasonable pick there on his part. In terms of being able to play it on curve, and it's got 4 attack to it, which is full against Hunter.
Draws you a card. It's okay.
Yeah.
I think you could pop your Grandmother here and then make your 3/2 a 5/4, and that's much better. I don't know if that plays into True Silver too much, but I mean, it still makes a threat that he has to deal with.
Yeah, you could have even have hit it in and then Houndmastered the Hungry Crab there.
Yeah.
To create a bit of a wider board. It's more resilient.
Yeah, this is Interesting line of play Tim is taking. I don't think you could afford to be this passive with Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, this is 3 straight turns. Well, 2 turns.
That's an
now.
interesting.
Moving into hero power.
That's an interesting pick from D Lyman, the Repentance. Not really sure what you're targeting there. Maybe Savannah Highmane, but this is the turn Highmane's going to come down, so I don't know what the target is with that card, honestly. But well, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. I think Getaway Kodo would have been fine. You're going to get back your Stonehill Defender first, most likely, because it's a taunt and he has to kill it.
Yeah, so of course we're going to see the crap down now. I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
The D Lyman's actually only running 2 Murlocs in his deck, just the 2 Hydrologists.
Yeah, that probably makes sense based off of the list we've seen so far.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here thinking about the Repentance, and I'm guessing D Lyman. The way you beat Hunter is you keep their board clean, and make them go into the top deck game, and I'm guessing that's what the Repentance was for. I could see kind of that line. We haven't seen Tim draw Unleash the Hounds, which I'm sure he's running 1 or 2 of.
Would be huge with the Hyena.
Yeah.
But, D Lyman could just answer that with an equality. We haven't seen it yet, but it's probably there. Rathian's going to come down, just draws him a card, leaves him an extra mana to weave in his secret. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm sure, that D Lyman's running the 2 Power Mancer. We've seen Consecrates and the 2 Equalities, so I don't think D Lyman right now, I think he probably feels pretty so far in this matchup.
Yeah, I would feel comfortable. I don't know if Taram's the right play here.
Yeah, I mean, you want to clear the beast.
Yeah.
Whatever you can do to clear the beast. So he is going to clean the board up.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, right? I mean, and now that the Houndmaster doesn't trade well into Taram.
No, the Houndmaster doesn't trade well into Taram at all, but the Flare is going to come out, draw him an extra card. It didn't really... It's not like it's game-breaking. Ooh, Volcanosaur is good. That's a good card to have right now.
That's a heck of a draw, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good card to have.
Macaw gives him target for the Houndmaster.
Yeah, that Volcanosaur might... That could probably do some stuff. The double adapts. You never know.
But know what? I mean, D Lyman now, he's got his turn 10 play, right? Like, no matter what happens next few turns, he's got a quality Drake.
Yeah, he's got it.
Just back-breaking.
It is.
Matchup.
If the Volcanosaur can stick, though, get, Divine Shield or whatever it can get to stick around, maybe it could be annoying, but I still don't think it's enough to win. But it can stick around and do some things. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, if he wants to, he can heal back up to 30 this turn, drop Rathian, draw a card, put another taunt out there. He's got Aldor Peacekeeper to answer, any minions on the Hunter side that's going to get out of control. He's got Stonehill Defender to dig for another Tyrion. I mean,
yeah, he's got options.
Yeah, I mean, every card in this does something extremely valuable right now, and good play here on his part.
Yeah,
he knows.
I don't think you get punished at all by playing this. He knows Tim is a deadly shot, but your board's pretty wide. But it could easily be cleaned up. But yeah, it's fine. Just get the healing in now and then make him waste a resource if you have it.
So.
Oh, yes. Let's go.
Tim absolutely prayed at the altar of Yogg before this series. His jeweled macaws are doing some damn work tonight. Good Lord.
Oh my God.
I mean, we've seen Volcanosaur and Savannah Hyman this match. He drew something in the first match of this year. I wish I could remember what it was. That was extremely valuable too.
This is a pretty powerful turn, I have to say.
Yeah. And so we're going to get a clear and got Tundra Rhino going into Savannah Hyman.
I don't know that he has enough gas to finish it off, but that was a good turn. Maybe Volcanosaur with charge can be annoying enough. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean,
can get Wind Fury plus 3 attack, and that's what It's already got 5 attack on it. Yeah, 5, so 8. It could represent 16 points of damage next turn if he doesn't get anything in front of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, if you're D Lyman here, you've got a mega turn, coming on 10. So I mean, I think he's got 2 lines here. He can play Rathian and draw a card. He can Stonehill Defender and dig, for another Tyrion or one of those valuable taunts.
Yeah.
So he's got options.
I think he has to get one of the taunts down for sure. Stonehill's probably the correct play because it gives him just more options, and the Tar Creeper could be annoying. Sogoth is okay, but it's really heavy, and your hand is already heavy. Is that the right pick?
Yeah, you're not going to play it for a couple of turns, because you've got your turn 10. So, he ends up going with the Rathians that he'll play. So,
all right.
Wow. We've got juice.
Yeah, he's got his juice. He's got double Highmanes. He's got the Volcanosaur. But if you look at D Lineman's hand, I just don't see how he ever gets through these wall of taunts that D Lineman's about to put down.
No, and the Volcanosaur could potentially make it interesting. He's going to get 2 adapts off of it, so I guess you're hoping for Divine Shield, Wind Fury.
Yeah, Poisonous too, maybe, just to fight through the taunts.
Yeah.
But you already have enough attack, so I don't think you need the Poisonous. You have more than enough attack. That's perfectly fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you have more than enough attack. You don't need the Poisonous. The only thing you would need the Poisonous for is the Drake. But I say that with like the benefit of hindsight or foresight rather. I could see D Lyman's hand, whereas Tim cannot.
Yeah. So we're going to see equality come down.
Yeah, and he's going to clear he's going to pop the Death Rattle. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, perfect sequencing on D Lyman's part. The details were important that turn. Got the details spot on. So we're going to get Highmane down, weave in hero power. But I mean that equality Drake is just backbreaking.
Yeah, I know. But if Tim could manage to hit his hero power button 12 times, he can win this game.
Yeah, as long as D Lyman does not draw into Forbidden Healing over the next 12 turns.
It's a small bump in the road. All he's got to do is hit his hero power 12 times right now. That's what you're thinking. I got to hit my hero power 12 times. Just got to weave in 12 hero powers.
Yeah, I don't think Joel McCaw is going to pull him.
He sees the line, right? So he didn't play the Rat Pack because he saw the line. He's got to hit hero power 12 times. I know Markshire's got my back on this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's there. He's already there. You don't got to convince him.
No, Sagoth. We may see concede. Sagoth.
No, you never concede when all you have to do is press a button to win.
Right. I know. Mason has screamed at me. Markshire has screamed at me enough times this season.
Oh, he killed the cute cat too? Why? No chill. D Lyman killed the cute cat. No chill. Like, you never kill the cute cat. You let the cute cat live every time. Obviously, I'm memeing right now. This match is so far ahead of the D Lyman's favor that there's really not much. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he was hoping to have seen a deadly shot top deck that perfectly hit Sagoth. But I mean, that match was over.
Yeah, it was tough from the word go. It's such a favored match for Paladin that there's really not much you can do except really like hope to high roll, which hoping to high roll feels really bad.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, we have D Lyman's Warrior versus Hunter and Mage. Now, depending on what the Warrior is, it could be good or bad for Tim. I would argue that if it's Taunt Warrior, Hunter and Mage might have a better chance than if it's like a Pirate Warrior. But I could be wrong on that.
Well, we saw that his Hunter is teched with Galacra Crawlers.
Yeah.
So, if it was a Pirate Warrior, he'd probably be happy to see it match up. So we see the Alexstrasza, so odds are this is going to be a Burn Mage. Slight chance it's Freeze Mage, but more than likely Burn Mage.
More than likely Burn Mage. That's pretty much the flavor of Mage now. It's just so flexible, and Freeze Mage isn't really as good, honestly. Oh, he's gonna full mulligan. Do you ever throw the quest away against mage? What do you think about that one, Markshire?
So I think that you do. I've been back and forth on this, but I actually think it's right because you're sort of you have to run them out of resources in this matchup, basically. So it actually makes sense to not keep the quest and you also need your hero power. It's really important to get that armor to get out of range of their burn spells.
Okay.
Yeah. And so Burn Mage is heavily favored in this.
Yeah.
According to the data. So it's another 60-40 matchup, but this time in Tim's favor. So he's got Alex Draza.
Yeah, he's already got the Alex, so that's good. His opponent doesn't have the quest, so I mean he doesn't have to be as fast, but really though he doesn't have a turn 2 play, so that's not great. So he's only going to be able to push 2 damage this turn. But he's got the courier on 3, which can give him some answers. Man,
Yeah,
Khadgar's hero power is so cool.
Yeah, so D Lyman, he does. I mean, he's got to be happy that he's got an Armor Smith, he's got a Ravaging Goal, he's got the Alley Armor Smith. So he's got some of his tools. He's got to get that health total up. He's got to get the armor up.
Yeah, he's just gonna play down the courier. Ooh, that Shadow Word Pain would have been nice to have already.
Yeah, I mean, I think you Shadow Word Pain here.
Yeah.
The Armor Smith, it answers almost all of the time.
Never Kazakus, feels bad. Last meta, that would have been a snap pick to Kazakus every time.
Yeah,
but
so
not anymore.
We're gonna see the Ghoul come down here. He's gonna clear up the courier.
Yep. Interesting. Well, he couldn't clean up the Mana Worm, so that probably makes sense. But now, if you're Tim, you could just Shadow Word and you could push some damage. You could Babbling Book first.
You're gonna get a little pseudo draw here, and Frost Nova doesn't really for you.
Not this turn, anyways. And he could actually take a value bump, which is huge, D Lyman doesn't have any real way to answer that.
Yeah, so he's going to get the Acolyte. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, well, actually, he can't get the value bump because of the increased attack on his turn. That's my apologies. But D Lyman can't clear the Mana Worm right now.
Yeah, I think Tim not attacking in is actually going to work out really well, especially if D Lyman does choose to play the Acolyte of Pain.
Yeah.
Because he'll be able to go Ice Barrier or Ping next turn and buff his Worm and then get a trade into the Acolyte. D Lyman does go that route.
Yeah, Ice Barrier Ping is going to be good. It's a pretty awkward turn from D Lyman, too. He doesn't really have, it's pretty awkward. Like, you could play the Armor Smith, but then you might not end up getting any value out of it because you don't have a Whirlwind effect of your own to abuse. Or you could play the Acolyte of Pain and then not really get to abuse it because you don't have a Whirlwind effect of your own to abuse. And then it's so easily traded into by your opponent just making a quick buff. So, I don't know. It's an awkward turn.
He's going to have to start working it. He doesn't have any of the Whirlwind effects. Like, he doesn't have any of the value turns that he's going to need in this matchup. And I'm kind of looking here. He's not going to have any demons.
That was an interesting play for Tim just to snap down the courier. I guess it's right because you just kind of want to get as much stuff on the board as you can just to generate tempo. And then still the Armor Smith can't really do much to kill any one of these minions on its own, so that seems fine.
Yeah, so the War Axe is... I'm sure D Lyman's thinking he would have appreciated that a few turns ago.
Well, he's got it now.
Yeah, he's got it now, so he's going to get the War Axe. The Alley Armor...
Yeah, and I think...
He's not in a rush to get taunts down.
No, and I think Acolyte of Pain is fine this turn. I mean, he could trade Ping into the Acolyte, but then you still get 2 cards you draw, so that's pretty good.
And Tim, that last turn.
Do you ever Meteor this board just to deny a draw? I don't think you do, but I mean it's worth consideration. I don't think that's good enough of a board to Meteor though, in my opinion.
No, I think so. Because you still, D Lyman is going to have some meaty minions.
Yeah.
Drake, the Matriarch, 6'9" Taunt,
Yeah.
Curator, even. So. Yeah. So,
Oh, he's just going to trade in with the Acolyte, so he's only going to get one draw off of it. I guess he's valuing the Armor Smith more than the Acolyte at this point, which is probably correct.
Yeah.
Or the yeah, that's Armor Smith. What am I thinking? I was looking at the Ellie Armor Smith. I'm like, wait, no, that's not Armor Smith, but they're both Armor Smiths. That's a pretty good top deck, but I don't know what you compare it with right now. I mean, you could clear off the Armor Smith, and that might be good enough. The Ellie Armor Smith I was referencing.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, yeah, that's a good dude to have on your board right now, but it also makes it so that you can never play your Alexstrasza.
It's interesting, this matchup, whenever you're Taunt Warrior, because, I mean, are you ever, I guess in a sense you are, but are you really worried about your health? Your armor total is low, in between 15 and 30. And because you haven't played any of your chill blocks, you haven't had whirlwind effects, off of your Armor Smith. You haven't had any of your larger kind of armor turns.
Oh man, just a 5-mana Arcanologist feels so disgusting.
But you draw a secret though.
You do draw a secret, and that fills out your curve perfectly. But is that how you want to spend your mana? Your 8 mana on an Arcanologist and a secret. Oh my god.
Hey, mana efficiency. Come on, guys.
Oh,
It's the key to the game.
mana efficiency is overrated according to Slimsh. I'm okay with this clear.
Wow, so the Mercenary is actually going to start working now. I mean, 7 armor just gone. I mean, D. Lyman's going to have to find some way to respond to this, and he doesn't have a clean way to do it. No execute in hand.
Yeah, no execute, but if you're D. Lyman, how desperate are you to get rid of that, right? Because he can't Alexstrasza with that on the board. As long as you can keep throwing taunts into it to kind of stall it, aren't you just okay with that?
Yeah, so, well, I guess in a sense he did create a clean trade, so the die here.
Yeah.
So he's going to clean the Drake up, get an Arcanologist down, probably get both of them down. There's his Ice Block. Next Arcanologist down.
Yep. You're going to Ice Barrier, though. I think you Ice Barrier
Absolutely.
first. It's just, it's much better spell right now.
Burst of any sort.
And he's going to block.
Oh. Okay. We're 0 for 8.
Do you agree with the Ice Block over the Ice Barrier there, Markshire?
I think it is okay to block there because you really want to play Alexstrasza next turn and then hopefully follow that up with a couple burn spells.
Okay.
So Animor is thinking that he's not going to have the mana to play the block in the next few turns.
That's fair. That's why we brought a pro on today, guys. To let us know when we're wrong.
Well, the one thing in this situation for Tim, though, is he doesn't have the burn in it.
He doesn't. It's interesting. I wonder how many Pyroblasts he runs. Probably just the one. That's usually standard with these lists, but he doesn't have any of them. He doesn't have his Frostbolts. He has one Fireball, no Glyphs, nothing that can really generate, damage. And he might even just have to Frost Nova this board just to prevent his opponent from gaining too much armor. It's a possibility.
He's got to hope for a Glyph.
There it is. Caster's Curse. Let's go. Mana Worm, Glyph, Frost Nova. Let's do it.
So seeing this now.
Ooh, that 3-mana Kabbalist Tome is pretty nice, right? Because it could get you some burn. But Firelance Portal is 5 mana, 5 damage, summon a 5-cost minion. That's good too. I don't know what I would be taking here in this situation. Even Molten Reflection, just get you another Alexstrasza on the board. There's merit to all of them.
Well, he went the sexy route, guys.
Sexy route.
Those were some very good choices. But
they were all good.
I like the Kabbalist Tome, even though Firelance Portal offers more immediate value. Tim doesn't really have the damage in hand to finish off the game right now.
No.
So I think he's just hoping that he can get some burn or some cycle from Kabbalist Tome.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kabbalist Tome is fine. There's merit to really any card in there, but I think overall Kabbalist Tome is the best.
Yeah, what a clean way to deal with this board.
Yep, just ghoul
Laman's
fishes.
part. Yeah, it's about the only thing that he's got about.
But he has no
You know,
board pressure right now, so Tim can actually play his Kabbalist Tome this turn and feel pretty okay about it.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see.
Oh. Mana Bind is okay, I guess. It'll just get you a Brawl, basically. Those are really the only spells they play other than the Whirlwinds and Sleep with the Fishes. Is that a good use of your resources this turn? I'm not sure that it is. But what else are you going to do?
I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I mean, there's not much else he can do that's useful. I guess
You could
is fine.
You could set up a flame strike clear though with the ping there. But yeah, I mean there wasn't a good use of his mana. I don't really know what else to do.
Yeah, but I mean, D. Laman, he doesn't have pressure on the board. You know, he had to play his quest late. He's got 2, on the quest clock, now 3.
3.
I don't think you're too worried if you're Tim,
I mean, you are now.
This is a really interesting situation because now the game has shifted to where Tim is now trying to run D-Lineman out of resources.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible for D-Lineman to complete the quest anymore. Maybe he has 4 taunts left in his deck, but it's going to be a while before he does.
Oh, Forbidden Flame every time.
I think I would have liked to see Tim just go for a Flame Strike and then Frostbolt the Direhorn Hatchling. Even though the burn isn't going to the face, I think he just wants to clear the board.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Flame Strike, and he's going to play the Potion of Polymorph on top of it, which is cool too. Any taunt that comes down immediately becomes just a 1/1 nothing. Ooh, the alignment's running thin.
Yeah, you know what? You bring up a really good Mason. I don't think he can complete the quest at this point. Well, you know what? Have we seen any Stonehill defenders?
No, we haven't.
Wait,
okay.
Haven't we seen one Stonehill?
I don't.
Oh wait, maybe we haven't actually.
That was last game. So he probably has enough gas in the tank. When you take into consideration the Matriarch plus the Stonehills, he's got enough gas.
Yeah. But that Pyroblast right there is big. He still has another glyph.
So Tim is just going to leave that up. Interesting.
This is okay because, like we said, Tim isn't really worried about taking the 3 damage from it because I don't think he's worried about taking 8 damage from the hero power for a very long time.
Yeah. I agree.
D. Laman, though, he's hitting the hero power. He's about to drop a threat on the board. So he's back at 25 health, which is not small.
Oh,
that's 6/9, of course, is going to get the polymorph.
That's like backbreaking for Dean Lineman.
Oh, that was his big threat that was left in the deck.
Yeah.
I think I would have liked to see him slam first because he really needs to draw in this situation. I think he's saving the slam for execute, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to do that.
So
and then once this Medivh comes down, once this Medivh comes down, he'll be able to Pyroblast. Yep, and he's just going to squeeze in his damage now while he can.
So, we still have the Mana Bind up, by the way, guys. Which, I don't see Tim getting, I don't see how it's going to be anything critical.
And D. Lyman just has a hand of, he doesn't have anything he could do. He can slam his Gluttonous to draw, which he has to do. There's no way he cannot do it. I know you want to save a slam for the execute, but, I mean, brother, you're about to be out of time.
He's got to draw, yeah.
Yeah. You can't afford this. Yeah, there we go. We're going to see it come out. I mean, that's an okay card to give to Mage, too. That's fine, I guess. It's not, like, burned directly at your face.
So, you know what? I would actually absolutely Dirty Rat here. If he can pull them in, yeah, there you go. So
yeah, that hurts.
It makes things interesting, at least, now D. Lyman can hope for trying to.
I don't think it hurts because I don't think if you're Tim, you're really planning on playing that card anyways. To be honest, I think you just have so much burn in your hand, you weren't ever going to play the Medivh.
So we're gonna. D. Lyman's gonna be staring down 12. I haven't seen a shield block. Have you guys from D. Lyman? I mean, he may not be playing.
It's just.
I doubt he is playing them. I would
Yeah.
be surprised if he was, especially if he's playing Slam.
Yeah, he probably cut it, and he probably was thinking like, okay, it's outfavored versus mage anyways. How much does shield block really help me?
Well, hey, he got a little victory there. He may not win the war, but damn it, he got a victory that turn. So
Yeah.
the valet is going to come down.
Yeah.
Question on that.
No, he's just gonna pyroblast.
He's going to put him at 2.
Yep. Just put him at 2, and then the Medivh's Valet is almost lethal. It's lethal every time unless he shield blocks, which he can't. So, yeah, it's lethal. Hey, look, we saw it, guys. Saw lethal.
2 different ways. All right, so I mean, it's inconsequential, of course, but D-Laman's going to take his time and get the right pick here. Work in a hero power.
No, I think you just like Sulfuris and then you clear the. No, I'm just kidding. You can't afford to Sulfuris. Yeah, and there we go. That's that'll. There she goes.
Valet, ping, and lethal.
Yep. That's it. You got it. That's math.
Dang it, he didn't get the sequence right, guys. He did not draw with the blade.
Yeah, always BM.
Always draw first, no matter what.
Always BM, boys.
So I want to talk about that game a little bit.
Go ahead.
Because at the start we saw that D lineman didn't keep the quest, and I think that's fine. That's the right decision because he has to account for the fact that Tim could be bringing Secret Mage, and with the rest of Tim's lineup, it makes a lot of sense that he would be bringing the more aggressive version. But against Burn Mage, maybe you do need that quest.
I think
if he
you
had gotten
do.
That quest done earlier, I think he actually would have had a chance to win that game.
Yeah, I think you do need the quest against Burn, but I think if you're like hedging against an aggressive lineup and your opponent has like you're playing against Secrets Mage, then I think throwing the quest is correct because the quest doesn't help you beat Secret Mage at all. So I think that's just one of those like 50-50 reads you have to make correct at the beginning of the game or else you're toast.
Yeah, so this is, Tim's going into this, Animor's going into this $45, $55.
Yeah. Which is basically a coin flip in Hearthstone. But what's tough about the Flares is it's a 100% dead card in this matchup. And it feels bad to be in his hand.
You a card, but
it does draw your card, but at least it's in your early hand where you have things to do already, and you're never going to top deck it, right? So, I mean, maybe it's okay that it's in your hand right now, because top decking it when you need an answer would suck. But like, I would rather that card be just about anything else at this point.
So one interesting tech that Tim has and that Animor has in this matchup is Deadly Shot, which I don't know if any of you guys played Orange's mid-range hunter build at the very, very, very beginning. After the expansion.
Yes.
But he was running Black Knight and Deadly Shot, and that single-handedly tipped the scales and actually made this a favorite matchup for the Hunter.
Yeah. I mean,
versus the Taunt Warrior.
You could see the Deadly Shot come down right now, and I probably wouldn't feel too bad about it.
I think the Hyena is
Hyena's better too, yeah.
6'4", I think.
Yeah, Hyena's good too.
And absolutely, yeah, the only way that D-Lineman could actually respond to this is with the perfect slam execute at 4 mana at the very beginning of the game, and you're not going to worry about that.
That Acolyte's going to get absolutely... I mean, it's going to draw him exactly 1 card. I think you just, do you ever just drop the other Hyena and then just weave in that hero power, or are you just going to take this turn to cycle? Because you can actually do it and not get punished for it.
Yeah, so... He draws the Macaw. You drop the Macaw here.
I don't know.
Or you even hero power.
I think dropping the Macaw is okay, but it kind of plays into the Acolyte being able to draw more cards. But that's fine too. You do that too. Why not?
Yeah. So do you ever worry about dropping that 1 mana though that you're spreading too wide before a potential brawl turn?
No, I mean, I guess you hold it. That's fine. Yeah, Warx is going to come in and clean up the grandmother for sure. Well, the big bad wolf, that is, rather.
Yeah, so, I mean, probably going to see the Warx come down. At this point, honestly, D-Lineman may just be playing the Acolytes as soft taunts and saving himself some damage.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's a good turn. You just clear off the big dudes, and you don't really care that the Jewel Macaw is sitting up there. That's actually fine. That's a really good turn.
Yeah. So do you ever Tundra Rhino here? Because next turn you could actually build up a pretty beefy hyena.
I don't know. I kind of like the route Tim's going here more. Just more stuff on the board instead of like putting all of your mana into one resource, just going as wide as possible. I mean, it kind of sucks to ward against whirlwind effects than the Tundra Rhino would, but I like the play.
Yeah. So this deadly shot is actually going to be a pretty damn good target.
Oh yeah, that's the best target you can hope for.
So he actually could put him at 4 health.
Yeah.
Turn.
Yep, and then he would have outs to lethal the turn after because he has the hyena in hand and a kill command. Holding on to the cheap beast is going to be huge right now.
Yeah. So probably see a kill command come down, put him at 4. That deadly shot is just so valuable in this matchup.
Yeah, that's pretty much game. I don't see what D Lyman can do to stay in it. He could play the Armor Smith, but then he just gets deadly shotted. He could get deadly shot hero power. That's over. He can't play any minions that help him out. Sleep with the Fishes isn't active. I think Tim was able to just put enough pressure on him in the early game, and that's all he needed to do.
Yeah, do linemen really need to pick up like a Whirlwind or a Ravaging Ghoul there?
Yeah.
To play the board in combat with Armor Smith.
Yeah, he needed to do something. No, Tim, you have lethal. Just take the lethal.
Yeah, so and then hero power, and that's the series.
That is a series, and Tim's gonna pick it up in 3 games. What did you think about that last game, guys? I mean, there really isn't much to talk about because Hunter just kind of did its Hunter thing where it snowballs an early board lead into a victory, but it just felt like D Lyman just kind of drew a little dead there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mason.
Okay, no, I was gonna say that game just shows the power of Scavenging Hyena. I think that came down on turn 3, and it just a 6/4 on turn 3 is hard for any class to deal with, let alone top warrior. Yeah, that was basically what did it that game.
What do you think was like the turning point in the series as a whole for these players?
I would say it was the game before when Animor won with his Burn Mage over Taunt Warrior. We talk about like tilt and like the psychological effect of some games, and I think that D Lyman, he had that period when he had a hand of like Brawl, Double Execute, and he was just doing nothing. And being in that situation where you're playing in your THL max, you want to play out the rest of your game. You don't want to just concede. But he knows that there's basically no chance that he wins. He just had to like hero power and pass for multiple turns. And just that feeling of helplessness can really put you on tilt and kind of put you out mentally for the next game.
Yeah, it's tough because whenever we talk about turning points, it's like the Alex Trebek effect, right? When you guys watch Jeopardy and Alex Trebek is like such a prick to the competitors, like, how in the hell did you not know that answer? So like it's always tough when we talk about turning points because my instinct is to say the turning point in the whole series was him mulliganing the quest against Burn Mage, because that match actually ran pretty long. He dropped a ton in the early turns, but it's easy for me to sit here and say that was the turning point, but D Lyman didn't really make a mistake. Because if it's Secrets Mage, which so much of the meta is made up of right now, then I can totally understand mulliganing the quest, So I think both players played really, really well. So it's hard to try and identify a turning point when neither of them truly made a mistake. I don't know. The only thing I could really nitpick from the whole series is not playing the Mana Worm. I think it was match 2 or match 1, not playing the Mana Worm turn 1 for D Lyman.
Yeah, I mean, not playing the Mana Worm on turn 1 definitely was interesting. I would like to know like the thought process behind that maybe, but I always think Mana Worm is just like, it's probably like the best 1-drop in the game. So, I mean, to pass it up, you have to have like a really good reason to do that, honestly.
Yeah, but even so, he still won that match, and it didn't really play a significant role in the series itself. So, Animor had to queue up his hunter 3 times and was able to pull out the win in favored matchup, which is hats off to him. Deadly Shot Tech ended up being pretty damn important, and I'm sure he had that specifically for Tom Warrior. So
Yeah, another thing that I noticed, and Tim ended up, or Animor ended up losing this game, is when he did not put the adapt on the Scavenging Hyena and instead did it on a 3-2 and played in the Consecrate. And he did end up losing that game. Maybe he still would have lost anyways if he made a different play. But he ended up winning the series overall.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations to Tim from Tim's team. He's just a god, honestly. I always say that Tim, he's a god. Like, if you guys never saw the Tim from Tim's team video, definitely check it out. It's probably one of the most like emotional things I've watched in like all of video games, and it's just, it shows you the kind of guy Tim is. He's just a good dude, and what games have meant to him in terms of like being able to stay connected with people in his personal life. It's very touching. Definitely check it out, and congratulations to him. But let's talk about, seeing as we probably have a couple minutes to kill because we're waiting on Salt and Hockey Boys, let's talk about their matchup. Really quickly. So you got, let's pull up their matches here. I'll go right to the screen so that way we can just read it off the screen.
So interesting thing here is the first match that was played was Crackshot versus Dogman Butt, where Crackshot won 3-1. And during the first game that we were playing, the D Lineman versus Animor, we actually had Slims versus Tomlock, and Tomlock beat him 3-1.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Tomlock beats Slimsh. That's huge.
That's good. That's definitely a huge win for Tomlock. And that does mean that Swagoy is going to go up in the overall series against Valkyrie. And it's pretty interesting when we look at these two teams. Team Swagoy and Valkyrie are both teams that were, I think, hyped up pretty hard in the preseason. Swagoy, they went on that run last season where they won probably like their last 4 games in the end of the regular season after having a pretty poor start. And Valkyrie with that 1-2 punch of Slimsh and D Lineman, and of course the captainship of Lemur, I think everyone thought that they would be a top 5 team, but they're not doing too great right now. They're pretty low in the power rankings as well.
Yeah. So, and by the way, love to talk about some other stuff in THL. The Survivor pool, which has been a huge hit this season. I think like half the people since it set this week picked Valkyrie, didn't they? I saw a lot of Team Rank 5 and I saw a lot of Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie is always a popular pick just because they have like the sexy THL names, right? They got Slimsh, they've got D Lineman. So people are always going to pick them. They just got really good players on their squad, right? But I don't know. Any team that's run by Lemur, how good can they be, right?
I think I'm not sure if they've gotten a win. I think they're 1-2 this season.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time before G-Net's mutinies against Lemur and takes over Valkyrie, right?
So, and I just want to make sure I heard correctly. So Tomlock secured the win over Valkyrie, correct?
No, sorry. Sorry. There's only 3 games have been played, so it's not. Swagoy is ahead, but the series is far from over.
Yeah, let's talk about Salt v Hockey Boys real quick while we can, because we got some time to kill. Hockey Boys is not going to be available for another few minutes, so we got some time to talk about their match and analyze their match a little bit, and then maybe we can have some fun with talking about some of the interview questions. But you got Salt, who's on Druid, Hunter, Paladin, Warrior, and Hockey Boys, who's on Hunter, Mage, Shaman, Warrior. The one difference that sticks out to me here is one that Hockey Boys is not bringing Druid, and also he's bringing Shaman over, just like what could be considered like just a really good stuffs lineup from Salt.
Hockey Boys lineup is quite risky.
It is a little bit. Like Salt's just got a lineup of like good stuff, like decks that are good. He's got Druid. Druid's pretty flexible and it's just good. Hunter's not as flexible, but Hunter can still be good. Paladin, Warrior, good flexible classes, whereas like Hockey Boys is only really flexible classes like the Warrior and the Mage. Shaman and Hunter don't really have a lot of flexibility outside of maybe like Control Shaman into Token Shaman. But what do you guys think when you look at this matchup?
Yeah, when I look at Hockey Boys, whenever I look at people's classes that they bring, two of the first ones that I look for is Druid and Paladin. And which, if we look at the tier, of classes right now in Stone, Paladin and Druid, they're tier 1 classes. Mages is definitely up there. There could be an argument for Warrior being up there, even though Pirate's really fallen off. So, your 3 big power classes right now, probably Mage, Paladin, and Druid. And he's not bringing 2 of them, So I think there's definitely a risk element on Boys. I can't wait to see what archetypes he actually bring, for those classes. And then Salt is a good, solid lineup. I mean, Hunter's tricky. It doesn't have any ultimate, huge favorites in its matchups. Doesn't have any huge dogs. We just saw it pull off a win against something it's supposed to dog against in Taunt Warrior. So I think Salt's lineup's pretty solid. It's got some versatility. And Hockey Boys, there's an element of a risk taking.
Yeah. Hockey Boys, it's his first season in THL, but he has played in SHL for at least last season. I think the past couple seasons also. I distinctly remember last season casting an SHL game where he brought a Hunter deck. I think it was a mid-range Hunter. And this was when Hunter was basically not in the meta at all. It wasn't being played at all on ladder. Basically what Warlock is now. But he won with it. He actually got a reverse sweep, so he clearly likes Hunter. He clearly likes the class. So I'm really not surprised to see him bring it. And I'm wondering, I would be pretty surprised if this were just like a copy-paste Tempo Storm mid-range Hunter deck. I think that Hockey Boys is going to have some special techs in.
Yeah, one thing I know about Hockey Boys as a player is he's pretty creative. He was saying in Discord earlier about how the one time he gets on stream, G-Nets won't let him play meme decks. He said to quote, "There's no way you're playing that Warrior, and Kazakis Mage, WTF Hockey." So, Hockey Boys likes memes, and I expect to see a fair deal of creativity out of Hockey Boys this match. I don't expect to see any cookie cutter lists or anything that you really gameplay for it. I think that might put Salt at a little bit of a disadvantage, just not being able to game plan for what your opponent could do. That certainly is difficult.
So an interesting thing about these 2 guys is they actually played earlier in the week in SHL.
Oh, really?
And
wow.
And Salt actually won 3-0.
That's information I didn't have. That's relevant.
Yeah, Salt was in the chat earlier bragging about it.
Okay, then. But how much does that matter, honestly? Because SHL's Last Hero Standing, it's a completely different format. You really can't target, and you could just get that one deck like Salt had that Hockey Boys really probably couldn't find an answer to. I don't know how relevant that is.
There's a lot of big differences.
Yeah, I don't know how relevant that stat is for this matchup. But, it certainly can't hurt losing to a guy 3-0 and then already coming into the game mentally tilted because you just lost to him 3-0 earlier in the week.
It certainly makes the match a lot more interesting, and it's a chance for Hockey Boys to maybe get one back on him.
Yeah. So Hockey Boys, he's actually, I know earlier we mentioned, he's relatively newish to THL. THL, SHL a couple of seasons, but he started playing Hearthstone in closed beta. He was able to get a key back then. He says he started playing then, kind of was off and on until around Naxxramas. But he's reached Legend over 10 times. And, he said he loved Patron Warrior. So if he played Classic Patron Warrior, that was a tough deck to pilot. And by the way, he loves his meme decks. His interview, he said, what deck does he play better than anyone else? He said Milrogue, and Brunson has nothing on his Milrogue skills. So I smell a best of 11 challenge. Dream it.
Also, we asked him what his all-time favorite card was. He said Yogg Saron Hope's End. Can you guys
the best answer you could probably have given.
Can you guys imagine being that wrong? Can you just imagine a world where you're that wrong for 2 seconds? Can you imagine it? I can't imagine it.
I like Yogg. I'm just saying.
I
like Yogg.
Wow, I can't imagine being that wrong. Yogg is he's a cancer on Hearthstone. It's just so bad when you could just say, well, I played Yogg, and Yogg randomly won me a game. Like, that doesn't feel good for anyone involved in that situation. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves, though. We all played Yogg when Yogg was powerful, but it doesn't mean we didn't hate ourselves for it. I hated myself for it. Yogg Tempo Mage made me feel disgusting. I hated it. And
I love his answer about what card would he banish to hell. It's a small story, personal. He said Prophet Velen. He's gotten him 13 times. Once he got him 3 times in a row as legendary pulls. I totally get it. I bought 200 packs when Whispers of the Old Gods came out, and I opened 7 Boogie Monsters. So, Hockey Boys, I feel your pain.
yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten a legendary that many times. But yeah, that's pretty. But I've only been playing this game for a couple short months, so I don't really.
I think Captain Greenskin pops up a lot.
Yeah, I've never pulled a Captain Greenskin. I don't know.
I've never pulled him.
Oh wow.
Never,
That's
not once.
interesting.
And I've
I
spent a lot of
tried
money
to.
on this game, so never, not once. Lastly, why are you going to crush your opponent this week? Well, Salt me beat Lee earlier this week in SHL, so I have to get my revenge.
Nice.
Yeah.
True. Losing 2 times to Salt is disappointing.
And for all of you guys watching this tonight, just know that while Hockey Boys is playing his series tonight, he's going to be jamming some Britney Spears.
Oh yeah.
Just
And
telling you.
then we asked him, he gets to pick a fight with anyone from history. He says, who's it going to be? Slimch, because he's a manlet. So, Slimch, you've been called out. You got to fight your boy, Hockey Boys. It's calling you out.
Hockey Boys he's created some work for himself tonight. He's got to have a best of 11 Milrogue with Brunson, and he's got to have a fist fight with Slimch.
Yeah.
All while listening.
Got to do it while
that
listening to
feels
Britney
like Dirty
Spears.
Mike and the Boys type tactics right there. Guying up on a little manlet.
But if you look at Salt's answer, you can pick a fight with any person from all of history. Who's it going to be? He wants to fight Mike Tyson. What odds are you giving Salt in that fight?
He's got a puncher's chance. You know, you never know.
I don't know, man. I give him like a 1 in a trillion chance of being able to beat Mike.
I want to give him some hope because his first video game he ever remembers playing is actually my favorite video game of all time, which is Chrono Trigger. So, man, Salt, I've got your back tonight, buddy. I'm going to put you on. Any Chrono Trigger fan is totally good in my book.
I've never played it. Feels bad. But here's an interesting answer. Okay, now maybe we could talk about this. If you're given the keys to the kingdom to make one change to Hearthstone, what would it be? Salt's answer would be trading cards. I actually completely and 100% disagree with being able to trade cards in Hearthstone.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah.
Wait, so why do you not like it?
So the way that Hearthstone is set up right now is no card is any more valuable than any one card. You have just as much access to Millhouse Manastorm that you do as, let's say, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out there, Sunkeeper Tarum, right? Which is like a really good legendary that everybody would want versus a really good legendary that nobody would want. Okay, so if you make trading cards a thing, the value for Sunkeeper Tarum becomes insanely high, whereas your Millhouse Manastorm is worth absolutely next to nothing. It wastes a legendary pull in your slot that you can't even get anything for. So if you put trading into the game, then of course you're going to have like these cards that you'll never have access to in any other way because you'll just have no way to ever trade for them.
Yeah. I don't. Did you guys ever play Marvel War of Heroes? It was a trading card game, probably about 3 years ago.
No, but I play Pokemon Online, and it's
No,
it's a
I've never played
you
that.
could trade in Pokemon Online, and it is the worst system ever. Like there's certain cards you can't get them because you can't afford to trade the resources you need to trade for them, and they're just unavailable to you.
Yeah, it does create a sort of class system in games, and often in games, which Pokemon's just such a behemoth that would never happen, but often in trading card games when you introduce trading, or trading card games, yeah, what ends up happening is you create an almost type of bubble situation in the in-game economy, and the class system that it creates with the haves and have-nots gets so extreme that the game
Yeah.
inevitably collapses. You know.
Yeah, and like think about it this way, like then you have a system where there's actually an in-game economy and someone's figuring out like what these cards are worth, and that person that's figuring out the value of these cards has no way, shape, or form evaluated with the game. It just becomes like this like toxic place where like just cards will change and triple in value overnight, and then it becomes even more pay to win than it is now. I think trading cards ultimately would be bad for the game. Do any of you think that trading cards would be good for the game?
I don't think I've seen it destroy games, so I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if I have as much experience with trading card games as you do. I mean, it seems like a really good idea in theory. Just because, like, you want to trade with your friends if they have a card that you like, and you have one that they want. But I can understand that maybe it wouldn't work out.
Yeah, and I think like if you could trade cards and still keep the crafting system, that's fine. But I don't think there's any world in which Blizzard gives us trading cards and then lets us keep the crafting system, because what they'll want us to do is buy more packs so you have more stuff to trade, and they won't want us to craft cards anymore. So I think if they introduced trading, they would get rid of crafting altogether. And I think crafting, like just from like an end consumer standpoint, is like the best thing any card game could have. There's no one card that costs you upwards of $200 like would cost in like Magic or other games, or like like the most expensive card in Pokemon right now is like $70. Like there's no cards that cost that. Like if you want to get a Sunkeeper Tarum, it's 1,600 dust. You want to get Blood Mage Thalanos, it's 1,600 dust. Granted, dust isn't the easiest to come by, but it's by and far, in comparison, a much cheaper card game than just about any other card game. And I would know I've played them all.
Right now, the system is actually a lot more balanced than it would be if they changed it.
Yeah.
Like the new players have access to the same cards as the pros.
Yeah, it's actually an incredible system, and I will, to my deathbed, defend the Hearthstone crafting system. I think it's a phenomenal system for obtaining cards. It's easy to understand. Sure, the values might seem unfair where you have to disenchant 4 legendaries to make 1 legendary. That's a different discussion, but the crafting system itself is incredible, and I don't think we should change that.
It's interesting. You bring up one other topic. I fully expected all 4 people, when I asked this question, to say tournament mode. Not a single person said tournament mode.
Oh, yeah. All day, tournament mode.
And then the second one I expected people to say was decrease the cost of crafting cards in WoW. I fully expected at least one person to say that, go ahead and cost. Which would make the game somewhat more accessible for entry-level players for a while. And actually didn't see either one of those responses. So,
yeah, when I saw that trading cards response, I was like, this is going to be really good to talk about. It's a good response. I'm not saying it's a bad response. I ultimately don't think it'll be good for the game, but it's a great response, and I appreciate Salt having that opinion and sharing that. It's just not one that I would have. Let's see if there's. Yeah.
Guys, I want to once again apologize for the delay, but Hockey Boy should be on in just a couple minutes. I was talking with him. He also told me to talk him up on stream, so I'm going to take this moment to say that Hockey Boys is the worst player in THL, and I think he's going to get swept.
Yeah. I mean, his name is Hockey Boys. I mean, like, that's the first misplay, right? Like, hockey's, like, easily, like, the 4th coolest sport I can think of, so there's that. So that's
I didn't know about that one.
I mean, so you got football, like the real football, right?
So you got European football number 1, and then
no, like the real football, like American football, the real football, not that soccer stuff you guys play across the pond. Well, that's
Wait, are you
cool.
Hand egg?
Yes, hand egg. So you got that, right? And then I would take the NBA over NHL. Then I would take college football. I would even take college football over the NBA. But then you get the NBA.
I would take WWE over all of them. That's the real sport, guys. That's the sport of king.
I don't know. And I live in Buffalo, right? We're hockey crazy. And I just like, you know what? Like, you got like the Predators and the Penguins in the Stanley Cup Finals. And I'm stoked for like Warriors Cavs, like way more than I am anything else. Like, there's just no superstars on the ice when you have like Predators against the Penguins. Wait, what now?
Hockey has some pretty good fights, though.
That's like the only hockey player I know.
Yeah, Alex Ovechkin. You got Sidney Crosby on the ice, and that's pretty much it. And but like you watch Warriors Cavs, right? You got LeBron James, you got Stephen Curry, you got Kevin Durant, you got Draymond Green, and like there's just superstars all over the field. Kyrie Irving, like there's just like it's gonna be way
That's
more
because
entertaining.
all the superstars are up in Winnipeg.
What?
Is Winnipeg? And
Yeah.
Like
Where's Winnipeg?
where's Winnipeg?
Winnipeg is in the north of North America. In
I
the
mean-
center.
I put hockey above like NASCAR because NASCAR is not interesting to me.
Well, yeah, anything is
That's a joke.
Like, but I put it above the baseball too. MLB, like baseball's cool. No. Wait. Hold up. Hear me out. I will watch every single playoff baseball game. I love playoff baseball, but the 166 some odd games of the regular season mean nothing to me whatsoever.
Baseball. Okay. Baseball has Bryce Harper. Okay?
Bryce Harper,
And then-
that's a clown question, bro. I love Bryce Harper.
I
He's a
hate
god.
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper is the greatest thing that happened to Major League Baseball since probably Mickey Mouse. And then the second thing is baseball gave us fantasy baseball, which is like the stock market for geeks. It's incredible.
Fantasy
Opened up
football
a
is
whole
better
new
than
world.
fantasy baseball, though, right?
Never, ever. Real fantasy baseball where you have to set your lineup every day and you use
All right.
play transactions like this.
We're gonna have to get We're gonna have to get a THL.
We should get back onto some THL topics.
We need to get a THL fantasy football team, but no, we're just killing time while we wait for these guys to get ready, honestly. And I think they're getting ready to play now. We're going to have Hockey Boys down bottom. We're going to have Salt up top. Let me see if I can get these bands for us. I'll message my boy Salt real quick.
Salt, no cheating in the bets. I will take away all your points.
Yeah, so Hockey Boys is logged in, preparing about. He's got the challenge.
Nice.
Salt is accepting the challenge as we speak.
So, okay, I have the Salt's band Shaman. Okay. What did Hockey Boys ban, though? That's what I'm going to want to figure out. But I know that Salt banned Shaman because he probably already knows because he banned it, so. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so-
That probably means
Yeah,
that. Go ahead.
No, you were going. I'm sure we were going to say the same. When you see the Shaman ban, kind of anticipate that Salt's going to be bringing aggro lineups, just out of fear of the controller elemental Shaman matchups. But with the rise of Token Shaman, I don't know.
Let me put the Shaman in there. I put the wrong class for Hockey Boys when I was making it, but that's
I
going to
think
be
you're
command.
spot on. I think Salt is planning on the Nagro lineup.
Okay, and I'm going to ask Hockey Boys what his ban is here real quick. Alright, let me just ask Hockey Boys real quick what his ban is. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so they're currently in the challenge screen, getting all their details lined out with email exchanges.
Yep.
Their class
Alright.
select, their Q&A orders.
So
Okay.
it looks like Hockey Boys is banning Druid.
Interesting. Does that say anything? Do these
Yeah.
bans say anything to you guys?
Yeah, I would say that a Druid ban means that Hockey Boys is bringing slower,
Like a
more
control.
control-y decks. Because you want to ban Druid to prevent the Jade Druid matchup, which is Young Jade Druid is of course very favored against any control deck.
Yeah, totally agree, Markshire. The Shaman typically means you're running aggro, and the Druid you're worried about your control decks.
All right, I just gave him the go-ahead to Q.
Awesome.
All right, we're going to have Hockey Boys down on the bottom. Salt is going to be up at top. Just remember, guys, next week I will have the cards flipped. Craigasm, if that gets you hyped. Like,
Or
Craigasm.
so you say.
Craigasm. No, and Salt's just messaged me that he needs a minute. That's fine. Hockey Boys is like literally running home from work and doing this like the second he walked in the door from work. So I'm just gonna communicate with him.
Yeah, it looks like they're actually both playing Wild this season. I still have never queued up a single Wild match in my life. I know a lot of people are stoked about the upcoming Wild Open or Wild tournament that's taking place. Have you guys tried out Wild yet?
No, I haven't. I dusted all my wild cards.
I have played Wild very occasionally. I dusted most of my wild cards, but I keep some of them around for sentimental value, like Doctor Boom. I miss that card.
Like, I never had a Dr. Boom, right? Because I'm really, really new to Hearthstone. Like, I think it's because, like, I don't know how people realize how new I am to Hearthstone. I'm really new. Like, I never owned a Dr. Boom. So, like, I couldn't play Wild to begin with, so I'm just dusting all my Wild stuff. It doesn't even matter. I couldn't wait to dust Reno Jackson anyways.
I saved him, Dark.
I saved my Reno, yeah.
I think Lester remembers all of my crybaby rants about Reno last season in the Aeon Discord about how I lost because my opponent A drew him or B I didn't draw him, and I was just so sick of that dynamic. Like, either you win because you draw him or you lose because your opponent drew him, or like it's just it didn't feel good, and I couldn't wait to dust Reno.
Oh my gosh, Reno was my first ever legend that Reno made. And what you want to talk about a broken like mechanic in the game, Ice Block into Reno, whenever Mage still had so many resources, that was just absolutely broken.
It looks like, just not to deviate, but it looks like Tom Locke actually wrote his undergrad thesis on the MTGO economy, and he could talk about it tomorrow. I would actually love to read that, Tom Locke. So if you want to like slide that my way, I would love nothing more than just read that. To be 100% honest with you.
Hey, count me in on that too, Tom Locke. So the reason I brought up Marvel War of Heroes, which by the way, guys, we're still waiting on Salt.
Yeah, now we're just killing time.
Yeah, so for anyone that played Marvel War of Heroes, it had very much a trading-based economy for a collectible card game, and so they had these things called power packs, and so people treated power packs like dollars. And I played Marvel War of Heroes probably about 3 or 4 months, and I made over $2,000 off that game because people would actually trade real life money. You would sell cards. Real life money, and then use trade networks to move cards around. And so it had power packs as a game economy, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, Dark, where people would just set the price of cards. Mm-hmm. And I made around $2,000 off that, just off its absolutely broken economy.
In Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, so you can't sell cards, right? People do. You can't sell cards, but people do anyways. It's against the terms of service, but you can trade them. And what people trade them for are unopened packs of cards in games that you can redeem from the booster packs that you open in stores. So people will sell you could sell your codes, however. So people will sell codes for booster packs you can redeem in game that you could trade in game for stuff. Like if you buy a booster box full of cards, you can honestly sell just the codes out of those for like $20 and like just like get back like 1/5 of your booster box purchase, like just to help pay for your box and stuff that comes out of it. Like you can make money just selling like code cards out of your pack that most people throw away.
Are you serious?
Yeah, people buy them. Like some sets sell for
like 20 of them.
Some of them sell for like 50 cents a piece. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, I mean like they're valuable.
I'm on Amazon as we speak right now buying boosters of Pokemon cards. I have a new addiction.
I will coach you. I'm actually elite at that game. Anybody wants their lunch money taken in a game of Pokemon trading cards, hit your boy up. I'll take your lunch money, all of it.
Anything I can play like the stock market, I'm all about. Count me in.
You could do it. I don't think you'll ever get rich, but like there's like in the Pokemon card game, there's things called trading companies. There's these people that literally exist just to trade the cards. They don't even play the game. All they have is they just stockpile packs. Like I know a guy that has like 10,000 packs in the game just so he could just trade cards, and like he gets paid in these packs that he has. He's never going to do anything with them, but he's a trading company. Like it's the weirdest thing ever. I don't know.
Sounds incredibly addictive.
Yeah. I think we're almost ready here. I'm gonna follow up. Has anyone heard from Hockey Boys to see where I think we've talking way too much about things we should be. We have nothing else to do though.
Have they messaged you?
I messaged Hockey Boys a minute ago and he hasn't said anything. Salt
Oh,
is in
God.
Twitch chat as we speak, so I assume he's ready to play.
So we can either confirm or deny, but we heard there may be a bio break holding up the match right now. Someone could have had spicy Mexican food earlier today, and we are currently just waiting on a bio break. We cannot confirm nor deny or say which player it is. Quite possible.
Yeah. It's definitely Hockey Boys. He's taking a dump.
I don't know. Salt could be in Twitch chat right now covering it up from the John.
Yeah.
All right. So
He said quarter past. It's actually been 50 minutes.
I think we actually sparked a really good discussion in the chat about crafting and trading, and that was pretty cool to see, actually.
I still think tournament mode is needed for the long-term survival of person. If it wants to be taken seriously as an esport, I 100% think tournament mode has to happen soon, actually, probably within the next 6 to 10 months. Tournament mode is desperately needed.
Oh,
Okay.
guys, I think they're queuing now.
They're queuing!
Sweet. Queuing.
All right.
Yay.
I gotta find Hockey Boys on my list here. Here we go. Rank 2 in Wild, so he's climbing up there. He might hit Legend. All right, what do we got up first? Mage
We have
against
Secret
Paladin.
Mage. Yeah, Hockey Boys has Secret.
Interesting Tar Creeper there. What do you make of that?
Elemental package, I guess, or teching for.
I have the bug where I have to jump out of spectate because Salt's cards didn't pop
So-
over.
Yeah, so actually seeing this Tar Creeper and Mage, this might be APX VOD's Secret Mage list because he was running a Secret Mage list with one Tar Creeper and also Yogg.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Please let us
Yeah,
see Yogg.
It's happening. Hockey Boys, his favorite card is Yogg. We know he likes the memes. He's running it, no doubt. Okay, I couldn't get Salt's cards to flip. Just got it. That's a solid Rock Pool Hunter. Just coming down, taking up the clean trade on the Mana Worm. He's got a solid board presence. The Hockey Boys. Well, I mean, he's got the Tar Creeper, but without the Tar Creeper, though, no real way to answer it.
Yeah, so I mean, so we're going to see Hydrologist here.
These cards are coming down lightning speed, man. You guys thought I played fast. Yeah, this could be a
Yeah,
clean
it's-
trade on the Tar Creeper.
Yeah, he's just spreading the board out wide. And then this glyph is going to be absolutely cool for this. See what his options are going to be.
Sort of snap picks that mirror entity there, but
Yeah.
it seems like it was definitely the right decision.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially when you think about the minions that could come down. Gentle Megasaur. Well, I mean, now it's kind of like not great, but like Gentle Megasaur can come down on 4. That's not bad. Finja can come down on 5. That's not bad.
So, I don't know. Do you ever take a glyph redig? Because, I mean, you're praying for a cheap Flame Strike, a Blizzard,
I think you
a
do.
Volcanic Potion. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that was a pretty quick snap pick. But I don't know. I think I would have dug there with another glyph.
Yeah, and that's not a bad minion to ping back to your hand either. So, but we're just gonna see the Finja come down here. There's no reason it doesn't.
No, no reason at all.
And then he's
Especially
got the
with this type
Megasaur top deck too. That's pretty good.
I mean, so technically he's got 2 lines here. Actually 3 if he wanted to push damage. With
Yeah,
the blessing.
I still think
But-
Finja's correct. Just the faster, if you're gonna play the Finja, the faster you get it off and activated, the better. Now, there's some
Well,
merit of whether or not you actually want to be playing Finja, but I think that's another discussion. But I think if you are playing Finja, the earlier you get it out, the better. I think you reglyph
So-
here. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Finja is going to set up a potential Gentle Megasaur on 6. I mean, of course, we can expect to see 1 or 2 cleaned up here, but potential, could be 6.
Do you ever Frostbolt here? Or Frost Nova? I think you have to, right? Just kind of slow the game down.
Yeah, I think Frost Nova is the right call. Hockey Boys are just desperately hoping that Salt won't get value off of Finja that turn. Maybe he can pick
Oh.
up a board clear, but that's not going to happen.
Baby, those Wind Furies. Look at this mana efficiency too, Markshire. I know that's getting you, like, you're loving that mana efficiency.
Oh man, it's getting me all hot and bothered. I
That-
love mana efficiency.
Mana efficiency.
Yeah, so I don't see him leaving a minion board for.
Yeah.
But he's got to at some point place.
Yeah, like this Blessing of Kings is just going to weave in an extra 8 damage this turn.
So actually, would consider the Kings on the 1/1 for like.
Oh, absolutely. You put it on 1/1. You don't want to reveal your Finja yet.
So he's going to spread out the health on these minions here.
Yeah, this is perfectly
so
fine.
I mean, Flame Strikes. Yeah, Flame Strike would response there.
No, at the Blessing of Kings on the 1/1's correct. You don't want to reveal your Finja to just get a Firelance Portal. You push damage. You turn a 2-mana minion into a 5/5 Wind Fury. It's perfectly fine. I think that's the correct play.
So, one interesting thing about our meta right now that we're seeing with this Un'Goro meta is that control doesn't always trump aggro right now, which, by the way, I know that would show up, but still, aggro isn't always trumped by control right now. Like, we have these super mega hyper aggressive aggro decks that can actually just raffle stomp control decks. So he queues up his mage again into Hunter.
Yeah, I wonder what this matchup is like for the mage.
I think it's about even.
Yeah,
Just like every other Hunter matchup, just about even. Yeah. But he's got options in the early game. He's got his Glyph, he's got his Frostbolt. Hunter's got the cats, so those are cool. But I don't know if you could play them right now. You might have to save them.
I think you absolutely play them.
Yeah.
Turn 1, you have a 1-drop in hand.
Yeah.
Seems pretty good. Unless he wants to go from Galaka Crawler to go Coin Galaka into Razor Maw.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of is just double choose over the 1 into 2.
All right, most important part of this match. Let's see if Hockey Boys trades correctly and leaves the cute cat up.
He does.
He does.
What a god.
Yes.
I mean, he kills them both, but what a god.
I'm glad to see proper sequence.
Yeah, that is 100. That's what we mean by proper sequencing. It's an interesting turn. I think you just Mana Worm Frostbolt. Pretty easy.
I mean, Hockey Boys plays fast.
Yeah, I mean that's the play though, and then Salt makes the play. Salt makes the only play you can make. You just put up your arrow, your bow, and then you just kill it.
So Salt is unless he gets a good top deck here.
I mean Tar Creeper's okay. Yeah, Tar Creeper's good there.
Salt's got a little bit of a clunky. You're secret teched in to the mid-range Hunter. Could make things interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So I think the Eater of Secrets shows a clear mage target from Salt. So I would assume that means that he's running Pirate Warrior as his third deck, because it's really hard to target mage effectively with Taunt Warrior.
Yeah, I agree. And they're playing so fast, they even have time to register that he got a win with his Paladin. So let me do that for us real quick. Okay.
So we're gonna see. So neither one of them. Salt's gonna. Howlmaster. I have a little bit of a glitch on my end on the.
Yeah.
Right now,
They're played so fast. It's hard to take in everything that's going on. But this turn here for Hockey Boys, he's staring down the barrel of a loaded gun. Basically, I mean the Flame Strike's okay. That's the only thing you can do. Ooh, Eater of Secrets. That's good. I like that. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
This Animal Companion, the 4/4, I think you want the Huffer in that spot, or are you happy for the 4/4?
I think you glyph this turn here if you're Hockey Boys. Honestly, I think you glyph, and you're probably looking for a Firelance Portal. That's probably what he's thinking about right now.
Pre-nerf Pyroblast is always sexy.
It is, but in this matchup, is it good enough? And
I
he
mean,
like
dude, the polymorph is such a great response to Fossa.
yeah. Interesting. Like we talk about like Secrets Mage being like the ultimate tempo deck, but he doesn't have any of his tempo generators on the board. It feels really weird that he's just got a handful of stuff that he doesn't really want to pay mana for, like his counterspell, Kabbalist Tome. I mean, it's kind of expensive for him right now. He would kind of like to get his secrets out for free and then get his 5/5 out for free. So
Yeah.
can't really do that
You know,
right now.
Salt doesn't have the cleanest turn either. And of course, he's going to drop the grandmother here. But he's going to be floating 3 mana unless he wants to get a kill command out.
Oh no,
take
you
the damage
you just
now.
get the kill command out. Yeah, you just get the kill command every time.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, see
notably,
the
he's
six,
not-
the crystal runner's full 6 mana. That doesn't feel good. I mean, you're gonna get it out for 4 mana here. It's so late in the game where it does. I guess the mana doesn't matter, but you know, stuff for free in Hearthstone tends to be really broken.
I'm
Yeah,
really
that was-
surprised. I'm
Go
really
ahead.
surprised to see this Knife Juggler from Salt. It's not a card we see too much in Mid-Range Hunter. So I'm wondering if he's running like more 1-drops, maybe Argent Squires or Fireflies in his deck. That would make sense.
Yeah, so we're going to see the kill command come out and clean up this crystal runner. So yeah, I noticed that too whenever that came off the top there. If he's running more of that hybrid or even face type of hunter, I'm not sure what Knife Juggler, what if it was matchup specific he was hoping for. I don't see how
Yeah.
it could have been.
Yeah, it's a really aggressive hunter list. He's got the knife jugglers too. Like, yeah, but I haven't really seen any of the like the more traditional face cards yet, anyways. But
I just, if you're Hockey Boys, how do you not play Yogg? It's always the correct play.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's gonna have to.
Yeah, you just gotta put
I'm
everything
pretty
out
sure
on the
he's
board.
facing down Lethal.
yeah, you gotta put everything down. Yeah, you got a Yogg now, don't you? Yep, here it comes. Bow down before the god of death. Let's go.
Hey,
Iron Forge
Armor-
Portal is huge.
Huge. Lightning
Oh,
storm,
man.
huge as well.
Yogg is doing some work right now.
Come on. Wow. Wow, is it gonna draw him a card? It draws him a card! Holy crap, dude! What? And he hit his opponent in the face! Oh my god, this is insane!
He got a taunt.
Oh my god, this is why we hate Yogg! This right here!
And he gets the taunt. That was
Yes.
insane.
That Yogg was near perfect.
This is a game he has no business winning, and here he is about to win it.
Yeah, that
Wow.
really takes me back to the old days. Not in a good way, though.
Crushing Dreams.
You
since
just-
2016.
He could do 15 damage this turn, and he's going to. Oh my god! Do you portal here, Markshire? And
Yeah.
come in?
Every time, why don't you?
I'm not sure. I don't think he needs to portal here, because he's always gonna have lethal next turn, pretty much with this board.
Yeah, but putting some minions on board. Yeah, clear the beast there. That was so often forget that sheep is.
Well, we have seen both kill commands, right?
Yeah, we have seen both kill
Yeah,
commands, so
so-
he's not really in any
yeah.
danger of dying. Quick shot's no longer a card. That was insane. This is why
Wow.
that astounding was fine, Salt. I'm okay with every second of that. Like,
Yeah, and I mean, you have to feel bad for Salt there. That was a game he was probably gonna win without that Yogg. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reason Hockey Boys put the card in his deck. Sometimes it's just gonna be a dead card, and sometimes it's game winning. And he wanted to take that chance.
100% agree. I mean, he was so. I think he was pretty damn heavily favored going into that Yogg turn. He had to have been around 70-75%, favorite to win that matchup. I mean, he got armor, he drew cards, put a taunt on the board. That was an incredible Yogg turn. Painful
Yeah.
to watch for Salt.
Drew him. How many cards did it draw him? It drew him 2 cards, did 5 face damage, cleared the board, gave his Yogg taunt, put a death rattle on his cards to give him even more value, just adding beasts to his hand, right?
So I saw Ysera there. So Hockey Boys may actually be running Control Warrior instead of Taunt Warrior. Yeah, we didn't see the quest.
Yeah, no,
so
this is just the standard classic control warrior, which has always struggled with hunters. So let's see if this matchup's any different. I don't know if that matchup has changed at all, but it really depends on the type of hunter Salt is running too, right? So if you got the high mains, he stands a better chance than if he doesn't. But yeah, this has always been a problem for warrior.
Yeah, especially here. Go ahead, dude.
No, it's okay. I was just going to bring up classes. I was wondering why Hockey Boys queued Troll Warrior into what was more than likely Hunter. But I mean, because Hockey Boy still has his Hunter that he could have queued up, correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. So, but what were you saying, Mark Sharp?
Yeah, well, if Hockey Boys is queuing this up, he must feel that this is favored, I think, because it's better than a mirror match, which I'm assuming he does have a mid-range hunter. I was going to say, I played a lot of mid-range hunter back in the early Old Gods meta when Control Warrior was really popular. And when Hunter had Call of the Wild, this was a really favored matchup for the hunter, but it's definitely changed some, and I would say it's about even now.
Yeah, I think Primordial Drake kind of flips it back into Warrior's favor a little bit too, because you could pop the high main and then drop the Primordial Drakes and kill all the value they get. So I think that card has a big effect on it too. He's just a good dude, that Primordial Drake. Yeah, I think
that's one of the best cards of the whole expansion. That card's incredible.
I think I would have preferred the Razor Maw there. But, I mean, this is good, too. It just lets you kill the Acolyte and build up a pretty decent board.
And Hockey Boys doesn't have the best turn.
No, he doesn't have a great follow-up turn. He can't do anything for a few turns. He has to... he's got a Dirty Rat here, but it's going to feel really bad once that Hyena comes down for free, and he's going to be able to buff it pretty big and send a lot of damage into his dome.
He didn't even hesitate to play that Dirty Rat that turn.
No, he didn't even think about it. He was just, I'm Dirty Ratting. He's thinking, well, this is going to solve 6 damage for me. But in reality, everything he kills with it is just going right into that Hyena. So it's really not taking any damage off of his face.
And this is what we saw in the last matchup, or in the last series, when Animor put down that Scavenging Hyena early and just snowballed the game from there. Hockey Boys just doesn't have a good answer to that unless he picks up a Ravaging Ghoul.
Wind Fury. I think that's improper sequencing from Salt here on this turn. I think if you're gonna Razor Maw, I think you would rather Razor Maw your Hyena. Maybe you get something that lets it stick around on the board longer, but I wasn't a huge fan of that sequencing either, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's actually the second time we've seen that this evening.
I'm not a fan of that turn either. I mean, you have a taunt you could put down. I don't know why you shield block. That wasn't a great game from Hockey Boys, to be honest. But, yeah, I mean, Salt played it good enough to pick up a win. He's up 2-1 against Hockey Boys, who's got to go Hunter and Warrior versus a Warrior, which if it's a Pirate Warrior, he might actually have a chance. Depending on what his Hunter list looks like, we haven't seen it yet, but he could easily put in the Galaka Crawlers to kind of swing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think his Control Warrior will have a good matchup with Pirate. I mean, traditionally, it's done it. I don't know about the modern Control Warrior build, but if he's expecting Pirate Warrior, he's got to feel good about that matchup.
Yeah, I think you have to queue your Warrior first. I think this is we got the secrets. Okay, that's pretty good. But I think if you're Hockey Boys, I think you have to queue the Warrior first. Am I right? Like, if you're expecting an aggro Warrior, you just queue your Control Warrior, get your point before you go into a matchup that's not as favorable.
I think so, but also I would assume that the Control Warrior matchup against Pyro Warrior is worse than Taunt Warrior matchup, just because you have less taunts. Because you win a lot of games against Pirate Warrior just by dropping an Alley Armor Smith and just building up that taunt wall. And Control Warrior doesn't have as many options to get on the board early.
Okay, there's some really interesting cards in Hockey Boy's hand. You got Doomsayer and Call of the Wild.
I don't know how we're in the world we're going to cast this match, because I don't think any of us are going to know what in the world's going to come off the top for Hockey Boys.
Yeah.
At least we know what to expect with the Pirate Warrior. Love the
Yeah.
Captain Greenskin.
I mean, the Doomsayer is going to go off, so you're obviously playing it. I mean, this looks like just like a mid-range Secret Hunter. Cloaked Huntress obviously can generate a lot of value and tempo, especially with the freezing traps. I personally like the secrets in a more aggressive list, because freezing trap can really help you protect your board. Same with the explosive shot, but it definitely works in the mid-range builds. There it is. We're just going to see the freezing trap come down, and
that's going to
3/4 is going to stick there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
He's just going to coin out the Naga Corsair, but you can ignore it if you're Hockey Boys, right? You don't have to do anything with it. You could just attack past it. Well, not if Salt's going to clear it, but with the freezing trap allows you to attack past the minions, but he's not going to get that opportunity.
There's Tracking. That's a great top deck.
It is. None of these cards are absolutely great in this scenario. Snipe is okay, I guess, but nothing's actually great.
Yeah, so,
Salt's just got a ton of damage in his hand. If you look at the damage, he's got 2 Arcanite Reapers, that's 10 damage. The Fiery War Axe, that's another 6 damage, so 10 damage each, so it's 26 damage plus the upgrade. I mean, he's got more than enough damage in his hand just from his weapons, and Hockey Boys has no pressure on the board. So, I mean, Salt can very easily put this game away very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think this game's just going to run away. I just don't know what in the world, with the context of his current hand, he doesn't really have a Houndmaster.
Yeah, Hockey Boys
target.
has to live 4 turns to Call of the Wild. Even then, I'm not sure it's enough.
No, I mean, Hockey Boys needed some sort of Houndmaster turn there.
Yeah, he's got to live to Call the Wild, and I don't know if he can. Captain's Greenskin's fine here, but I think Salt's just gonna equip.
No, you load the Reaper, man.
Yeah, he's just gonna Reaper. I mean, Captain Greenskin's okay because it gives you a body on the board that you could push more damage with the next turn after you hit an Arcanite Reaper. I think Greenskin might have been better there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's a pretty big misplay to just play the Reaper instead of getting a 5/4 onto the board.
What do I know?
Yeah, it probably won't matter.
I've never played Pirate Warrior in my life. I'm a good, wholesome Christian boy. I never play that deck. That deck is for people who are bad.
Good Christian boys do not play Pirate Warrior.
Naga Corsair's fine here, I guess. You can't really do anything else. It plays into Snipe, but it's fine.
I mean, there's so much damage in his hand. He knows this matchup.
Primordial Drake. Like, you're 1 mana off. Yeah, this game's over. Salt's just going to Heroic Strike, and it's over.
Yeah, so Hockey Boys is actually going to join us for an interview post-match. And I think it's a good question for him with his thought process for Q and mid-range Hunter instead of the Control Warrior to try and take it to 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
That Hunter build was interesting, to say the least. So.
Oh, no, not Hockey Boys Warrior. That's still white. Hold on, guys. I'm wrong. XD.
That is going to wrap up the series there. Are there any surprises that you guys saw aside from that Yogg?
Aside from there's a lot of sloppy play for players of their caliber.
Okay.
I think that was definitely a surprise to see the level of play B's kind of a few missequencing and a few misplays. That's the only thing that really surprised me, and deck choice, right? I think Doomsayer and Call of the Wild in a Hunter deck is really, really weird. Same with Primordial Drake. I have no idea what that deck was. We'll have to talk to Hockey Boys about it.
Yeah, I there were a good many surprises for me too. One of them being the queuing order in general. Hockey Boys, if he was anticipating, Salt bringing aggro, if you're bringing classic Control Warrior, I don't understand why that wasn't a queue unless he was worried about, the potential for Salt to bring something other than aggro. But if he game planned for that and that's what he was going to, why that wasn't first queue, so the queuing order was a little interesting. And that's probably what stands out for me most. What about you, Mark Shar?
I would say, yeah, I mean, I would say it was definitely the Hunter build. I saw GNets bring a sort of a similar list. I don't think it was running the secret package, but it did have Doomsayer. I actually lost to that in Wicked Wednesday. Um, so the deck definitely can work if you hit your Doomsayer on two and then have a good curve. But I mean, against an aggro deck like Pirate Warrior, it's gonna fall flat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting deck for sure, and I'd kind of want to see like talk to him a little bit about that deck and like what exactly he was planning on doing with it, because I don't know, it just seemed like really slow for Hunter, and Hunter's not really a class that wants to be slow. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm quite often wrong.
Yeah, I was not here for the episode of this. I think it was maybe it was 3 weeks back, when D. Lineman was on another time. But I remember when we interviewed him before that, he was talking about the design philosophy of Hunter.
Yes.
And how,
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
and he was, okay, 2 weeks ago. And he was talking, basically, he really hates the class and thinks the design philosophy is bad. And a lot of that is because of its hero power, because the hero power really promotes just such a linear game plan.
It's such an
basically just really aggressive, trying to get face damage in early because you have that hero power to back you up.
It's the most honest hero power in the game, in my opinion. But actually, we got Hockey Boys in the chat now. Hey, Hockey Boys, how's it going?
Hello. I brought the wrong deck.
Wait, what?
I had two Hunter decks. Deleted the wrong one because I was in a rush to get here.
Oh no!
Oh,
Oh, that feels
The
bad.
deck was even meaner. I had Golden Cho in it.
Wait, what?
So that's what's like Doomsayer and stuff.
Yeah, I just made a random meme list for ladder because I don't care about my rank.
Oh man,
And I brought that by accident.
oh, that feels really bad. Sorry to hear that, man, but um,
Oh well.
it happens. I'm sure it's
So we
happened to
have
most
to-
people.
yeah. So we have to ask you: at what point did you realize you brought the wrong Hunter deck?
Oh, okay. So my mulligan originally was because my other deck was a secret deck too, because it's just faster than normal deck. So when I saw the freezing trap, the high main, and the kill command in my mulligan, I'm like, okay, I brought the right deck. So I called them the same thing or something. I don't know why. But then once I saw the Doomsayer, I'm like, oh shit.
I have the wrong deck.
Like I literally don't have any cards at like 5 mana. My only 4 mana card is Barnes. I run double Primordial Drake, double Call of the Wild, and I'm playing Pirate Warrior.
I mean, the Doomsayer almost worked, but yeah, not having any of the mid stuff was definitely not great.
I mean, it runs Barnes and Yisharge, so I thought I could maybe cheese that out if I drew it, but I didn't.
Yeah, Barnes Yisharge. Okay, so it's the Barnes Yisharge Hunter, where you play like Barnes and Yisharge as your only two real minions outside of the Doomsayers, and the Drakes, obviously. Yeah.
I have high mains, Drakes,
Okay.
and Yisharge,
Okay.
because Drake's just a good card.
One thing we wanted to ask before we get into your interview questions really quickly is queuing order. So at the end, when you queue Hunter into the Warrior, was there ever thought to queue your Control Warrior in just to pick up that point in case he's a Pirate Warrior? Or did you have a read that he might be a Taunt Warrior?
I run double Crab, and it's super aggressive in the other one. So I thought that I could have just won the game. I don't know. I mean, I just lost to an aggro deck with my Control Warrior. So I thought maybe it could happen the second time, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't too confident with it, which is weird because that's the first time I've ever lost to a Hunter with a Control Warrior.
Yeah.
Granted, I haven't played many games with it, so.
Yeah, I think the queue makes a lot more sense when we find out that was not the Hunter deck that you wanted to bring.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think in general that mid-range Hunter and Pirate Warrior matchup is actually about 50-50. It's not really that unfavored
Wait, what?
because of stuff like Blocker Crawler.
well, the thing is, Salt. I know Salt always plays aggro decks, right? Like pretty much always. And look at his lineup. Bring a Hunter, you're automatically going all aggro. But I thought on the off chance that he brings Taunt Warrior, the Control Warrior really is not very good at all. So I thought overall the Hunter had the better win rate opportunity. And I mean, this Hunter deck would have destroyed Taunt Warrior if it happened to be Taunt Warrior.
Yeah. That's a good point. I guess when you take into consideration that it was the wrong Hunter deck, then it all makes sense. Is there anything you wish you could have like done a little different besides bringing the right Hunter deck that you kind of wish you did a little differently in that match?
I mean, the problem is that I brought Hunter in the first place.
That's never a problem. Hunter's
Like, I
a
don't
good
think
dude.
it's a good class. The people on my team were like, "Oh, I've been doing really well with Hunter," so I'm like, "Okay, I'll bring Hunter."
Oh, you're hurting my feelings, hockey boys. Hunter's my favorite class, so kind of hurt me a little bit. I want to talk about.
Hunter's my favorite class too. I just think it sucks right now.
I mean, it was worse before, way worse. I want to talk about your interview a little bit here, because first, I wanna hear this. You said you could pick a fight with any person in history. You called out your boy Slimsh. What's up with that?
I mean, he's a manlet. Have you seen his pictures?
I've seen his
like,
picture.
I'm not trying to get beat in this fight.
I guess that's true.
Like, if I'm gonna get into a fight,
So
I'm
you
gonna
just pick the
lose.
fight you know you're gonna win.
Oh yes.
I don't know. Have you seen his pictures? He has like chainsaws and knives and stuff.
Oh, I assume this was just like straight on fist, like UFC.
Yeah, no, it's straight on fists. When you said you got to boot one class off the Hearthstone Island forever, you said it was going to be Warlock. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit, or? Like, what is it about Warlock that you don't like?
I like the meta right now, and Warlock's not here, and I hate Reno decks.
Yeah. Well, Reno's gone.
So, yeah, but I mean, I still play Wild, so.
Oh yeah, I don't play Wild. I couldn't wait to get away from Reno Jackson. So hard. Let's see here.
I also just like the meta right now with Warlock not in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I have every class represented, that would be fine. But I don't really miss Warlock. Another thing too, you said your favorite card was Yogg Saron. Do you know how do you know how wrong that is? Like,
Well,
Did you not
know
see
what?
it this game?
yeah, I saw
I think it's a
it.
valid point, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was
Like
all
what they
right
just did.
tonight.
But like, that's the problem we have with Yogg, right? Like, fundamentally speaking, like, honestly, really, there was no business winning that game, and then you just play a card, and your card's like, oh, I won the game. And or it could be like Markshire playing me the other night, where he casts Yogg and he immediately purifies himself, and then he does nothing. Like, it's just that, like, there's no balance with Yogg. It either wins you the game on the spot or loses you the game on the spot, and you never play it when you're winning. So I don't know. It just seems like the most unbalanced card ever to
Yeah,
me.
but it's the funnest card.
It is. I mean, I guess it's a lot of fun, but like, I don't know, man. If I lost to Yogg, I would just like feel really bad.
I mean, I don't know. Hearthstone's not the most competitive game, so I don't have a problem with it.
I mean, I guess it all depends on the mindset you take into it, right?
So a question I have for you is so we said, we'd give you the keys to the kingdom, make one change in Hearthstone, and you said getting rid of the ability of letting see when you queue for a game. Of all the changes in Hearthstone, what was that answer about?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems at high level Legend right now. Like at the end of the season, you play your game, and then as soon as you like beat the player, if they're on your friends list and they're a scumbag, they're gonna see when you're queuing and just counter queue you. So then it turns into a game of, are you gonna counter queue the counter queue or are you not? And then because like some matchups you just lose as soon as you go in, right? And it's like if you're going for the top 10 at the end of the season, that's just not fair.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then the other question I have for you was, you said you play Milroad better than anyone else in THL.
Oh, better than Brunson.
I think Brunson's the
he's
only
the
player
only
playing.
other Milroad.
Yeah, he's it.
I don't know. I hit Legend with Milrogue. So
Would you like have a
I don't
best of
think
11
anyone
with
else
Brunson and Milrogue?
I'll have a best of whatever with the Milrogue against Brunson or anyone else.
Yo, we'll cast it. I'll do it. Reach out to your boy.
So, I'm gonna call out Brunson. I played him on Wicked Wednesday. His meme decks suck. It was normal decks with Prince Malkazar.
Are you
That's
saying that you're the new king of the memes?
I'm saying that maybe Brunson's memes aren't the greatest in Hearthstone.
Nice.
Like, he has
shots.
the greatest memes in Discord. It's not even close. But I mean, in the actual game, I don't know.
Shots fired. Calling it right now. Shots fired. Hockey Boys has better memes than Brunson. Does he have the
Alright,
best
so
memes in Discord? I don't know.
Oh, well, there's
I-
Dominus too.
So the last question I have for you, and then I'll turn it over to you if they have any questions, is you play Hearthstone pretty damn fast. We saw you tonight just snap decisions every turn, every discover. Is that about how quick you usually play?
Yeah, about that. I mean, Markshire had to message me saying play slower.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry
yeah.
about that. That was
we
it's
talked about that.
it's really impossible to cast when cards are snapping. Salt was playing really fast too. We sent the message to both players.
yeah.
It's
I
literally
think that-
impossible to cast a match when cards are just flying. But like, do you ever feel like that hinders your play at all, or? I play pretty fast too, so I mean, I'm kind of
find
on your
it very
side.
ironic that you're the one asking this question.
But like, I we'll talk about it privately. But I have a mental disorder that makes it so that way I could do it and it's okay. But like, I don't know, man. Like, for me, like I just do that, but I don't know.
I think it depends how comfortable I am with the decks. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I misplayed in the mage one like a couple times.
Like
I'm not sure about playing the glyphs, and I never played the arcane intellects, but I don't know if I had the actual time. I have to go back and look at it.
yeah,
But I usually play about that fast on ladder, but I usually play aggro decks.
I did see many
So,
mistakes.
They don't have many decision trees.
Sure.
I mean,
No.
decision trees are important, man.
I don't know. That's an Arcturus quote. Just kind of stealing it.
I have to play Arcturus this week. Feels good.
No,
any-
but I don't know. I feel like it's really easy to find. I mean, it's not really easy, but I mean, sometimes you just kind of know what the line is going to be, and sometimes you know when you're going to lose. Like the Control Warrior, when he went one drop into Divine Shield with the 3/2, and I didn't have a War Axe, you kind of know that you're going to lose that game. So
Yeah. No, that sounds fair. Hey, Mark Chuchi, do either of you have any questions for Hockey Boys?
Yeah, I would like to ask, what made you pick APX VOD's list in particular? Also, that was his list, right? Your mage list?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. What made you pick that?
Okay, because originally I had a meme lineup, so I was bringing Kazakus Mage, but then GNets was like, no, you're not allowed to bring that. So then I was like, fine. And then I went on Vicious Syndicate, and I was like, okay, what mage deck does well against Hunter? Because I was trying to target it. And then it said Secret Mage, right? And then APX Void had Yogg-Saron, and he's Canadian, so I had to go with my Canadian boy.
All right, that's fair. That's
But I mean,
good
okay,
reasoning.
Yogg-Saron won me the game, so I mean, I don't think it was the wrong decision.
No.
Oh no,
It
I agree
definitely
with
was
it.
not.
I like
wrong
the deck.
decision.
I think the Tar Creeper is pretty good in it too. I mean, Tar Creeper, like you can just put that card in almost every deck. It's so strong.
Yeah. You just drop it on 3 and you don't even really feel bad about it. Hockey Boys, do you have any questions for us?
I want to know why Mark Shire put in the wrong score in the Wicked Wednesday.
That is false. That
He
is
never played the last game. Do you have the screenshots of the last game, Mark Shire?
Oh.
I do.
Oh, come on, man. That
Markshire cheating in his own tournament.
I mean, he makes his own tournament and cheats to get that one extra Wicked Wednesday point.
man, I can't believe it. And this is a guy that's not only on the board, but he's on my own team. Like I let this guy coach me? Never again. Man.
I don't think I'm
That's
going to
some
vote for him
shady
again.
stuff, Mason.
I'm going to start the Don't Vote for Mark Shire campaign right now.
Oh, you better not. What are you gonna do? Run against me?
Season 8, no more Markshire.
I know.
Yeah, you already got to deal with me for season 7 too.
I know. He's like
It's
he's
a
now
season
like
term.
he's now the Trump of THL. He's like, we all got to deal with this guy for one term and he's out.
I
That's
just want to say is, like, whoever does the review session, I think this is abuse of power on Mark Shire's part.
Yeah, abuse of power. That's classic Markshire. Man.
I'm smelling a timeout.
Oh wow. Just when you think you know a guy, he drops abuse of power. All right, anything else today, guys?
Okay. I mean, if people weren't clear on that. I was kind of joking about it because I played Markshire and then I lost. I asked him at the last game if he got screenshots. He's like, no. I'm like, oh, well, I guess the game doesn't count, and then he left.
He pulled that move, man. I hate that move.
Actually play the match.
I hate that move. I hate when people pull that
he
move.
was playing real decks, and I was playing like Kazakus mage level decks.
They were not quite on that level. Well, they were close, maybe.
I brought Mil Cthulhu Rogue.
I think I banned your rogue,
What?
though.
Yeah, you did.
You should post that deck list on Facebook.
I'll be the new Eden.
Do it, Milth Cthulhu Rogue.
Hell
The
yeah.
new Eden.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call a stream on that one, guys. Hockey Boys, thanks for coming out and joining us and chatting with us for a bit.
Thank
Sorry.
you, Huggy Boys.
Yeah, sorry the match didn't go better for you. Hopefully you get Salt next time.
Oh, can I? Okay, one last thing.
Yes.
Salt beat me in SHL 3-0 this season, though.
We talked about it. Yep.
Not this season. This week. Yep.
Yeah.
I just want to say that he retired me from SHL. We found a replacement, and that match, like, I'm retired now.
All right.
That bad. R.I.P. Hockey
Yep.
Boys in SHL.
All right, thanks for having me.
No problem, dude.
Yeah,
See
thanks
ya.
for coming on.